on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Drape.
Hello. It's Whitey and Jay today. It's too bad Drapes isn't here. It's possible he celebrated too much last night after the Warriors were eliminated, Jay. I'm sure he was very happy to see that. Do you think the Warriors are a little delusional? Because after the game, everybody from the owner to the coach to Draymond Green to, I believe, Jimmy Butler said, oh, yeah, if Steph hadn't got hurt, we could have gone all the way.
We had championship aspirations and goals.
We could have done it. I don't know if we would have done it, but we could have done it.
Yeah, well, I think you're supposed to say that if I'm not mistaken, but I can see where they were coming from. Steph definitely changes the game. But yeah, in one hand, you can say, yeah, you're delusional. On the other hand, Whitey, I could see how they made it to the finals.
Yeah, I don't quite see that, and I understand what you're saying. You want to have confidence, but also,
for sure.
Isn't that a little disrespectful to the team that just beat you in a way? Like, if our guy hadn't gotten hurt,
Nah, because here we go with this. Here we go with the sportsmanship type stuff. Here we go. We've had this conversation. It can be both. You can say, hey, listen, this team took care of us. They did what they did. But you also, and this is the one thing about press conferences and about the leagues, I get it. You can argue, you got to be composed a little bit better. You have to, know what you're saying, know where you're going, all those things. But 10, 15, 20 minutes after a game, emotions and feelings and things like that are high. And so as an athlete, I can understand how a person say, you know what, this really slipped away. And it really slipped away because our leader's not here. Our guy, our star is not here. And to be honest, I felt like we could have been in some of those games. And I think we had an opportunity. And at the same time, the media is asking you those questions too. So I ask you as part of the media, now put yourself as an athlete. If someone's asking you a question, hey, do you think you could go all the way? What would you say? Nah, hell nah. We got our tail kicked.
Well, I don't know if that was always in response. If all the comments were in response to being asked, hey, could you go all the way?
Two of them were. Jimmy Butler's was after a question, and Steve Kerr's was after a question.
What was the question? The question was, could you have won it all?
I don't remember specifically how it came out, but it was more or less, do you feel like Steph Curry's non-availability caused you guys not to be able to go or reach the pinnacle of your goal? And Steve Kerr's like, hey, I feel like, if Steph was here, we had an opportunity.
Yeah, Draymond said that. I do think they're delusional. It's good to be confident. I just don't think that was going to happen. And I think they're not in a great spot right now because, now you got Giannis may become available, and that's been kind of what their owner, and understandably, Joe Lacob has been coveting Giannis for a long time. Now, because they have Jimmy for a couple years, they may not be able to participate in the Giannis sweepstakes if that takes place. So they rolled the dice, and I know at the end of the regular season, they were phenomenal. But, I think before the series even started, Jay, I think you and I both picked Minnesota to win that series. So
yeah,
I appreciate the confidence, but I just think the whole organization right now, maybe the reality of the situation is one that they are a little reluctant to deal with.
Yeah, I could see that. I understand, but I guess I don't see it that way, especially as the athlete. I'm always thinking that I can win. And when you beat me, no bad sportsmanship. Shouts out to you. Congratulations. You took care of business. But at the same time, you do have caveats, and we have those all throughout the season. Sometimes athletes don't say them. Sometimes they do. And it is very interesting where, it is true. It's like, one of the things I always talk about is hating is okay in sports, but when you hate on something in sports, people still cry about it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's wrong. You just a crybaby about the situation.
Well, I don't mean
it's just me.
Wrong morally. Like, I get it, but I just think they're wrong factually. Like, no, you weren't. They weren't going to win a championship.
Oh, no.
So they got some hard
weren't,
questions
sure.
they got to answer.
Yeah.
By the way, tonight, the playoffs continue.
But you should think that way, correct?
Yeah, you got to
that.
Yeah, I understand that. Jamal Murray is questionable for Game 6 with some manner of illness. So looks like OKC may be on their way. I know. Look, we just saw what the Celtics did last night without Jason Tatum. So you can't just say, well, Jamal Murray's sick, so that thing's over. But I think that thing's probably over anyway.
Yeah, it's over.
It's over. And I like Denver. But
it's over. Man.
OKC right now, it's hard to see anybody stopping them, barring something unforeseen like an unfortunate injury.
Yeah, I just think OKC is a better team. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure OKC has played a complete game this season. This series. Game 1, they kind of let it slip away a little bit. Even the games that they've won, it's been pretty close, and I know it's the playoffs, but I just haven't seen a full dominant game from them. I think within the next 2 games, Denver's going to have to beat them 2 more times. I see OKC having a good game, a good enough game to get by Denver.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting getting back to Boston. We were watching that game, of course, yesterday while our show was still going on. And for one game, it happens a lot in a lot of sports. For one game, I don't know how sustainable it is, but Boston really responded. They recognized what needed to be done without Jason Tatum, and they did it.
Yeah, no doubt. They definitely did. And it might be one of those things where, and I thought about this, was it more in the response of we're doing it for Tatum and people are counting us out, and, you know, you just stepping your game up and you kind of get that extra boost. Now they have to do it 2 more times.
Right.
The Knicks kind of folded a little bit. You could tell for whatever reason they took the foot off the gas. I just didn't see it from the Knicks yesterday, but I'll take the Knicks in the next couple of games.
I still think Boston may be, well, they're nearly as talented without Tatum, if not more talented than the Knicks. But it depends on, when Boston's making shots like they did last night, they're tough to beat. And last night, other than Porzingis, all our guys that we talk about, Derek White, Drew Holiday, everybody was knocking down shots for the most part. And they're tough to beat when they're shooting such a high percentage, especially from the 3-point line.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, they're a champ for a reason, defending champ for a reason. So you have to respect them. And we know the hardest nail is the nail in the coffin. The last win is always the hardest. So you got to go get it, and you got to defeat a champion too. So
yeah,
it's just one of those situations that New York, and for good reason, they need to go out and prove that they can beat Boston one more time.
I do now hope that the Knicks win. I don't really like Boston that much anyway, but I'd hate to see a really compromised team advancing. It's like it was hard watching the Warriors when Steph was out, and I understand it's very difficult. But watching the games is like, these guys have no chance.
Nah,
I don't want to see a compromised team, and that's the reality of pro basketball. That's the reality of sports. Guys get hurt. And sometimes they get hurt at the end of the year and their teams are playing the biggest games without them. But I don't want to see that. I'm hoping we don't have to see Boston trying to make up for, the absence of Jason Tatum playing in the Eastern Conference Finals or beyond. I don't want to see it, Jay.
Yeah, because they would have to get on a hell of a run to upset Indiana, who's playing very well, and whoever comes out of the Western Conference. And I'm with you. I can't stand Boston anyway. I'll just put that on the table.
I'm with you.
So I don't want them to win anyway, but I definitely don't want a full, geared up squad, or excuse me, a non-full geared up squad like Boston kind of limping into an Eastern Conference Finals and the Finals.
Do you have anybody of the teams remaining that you'd say, that's my squad?
Yeah, I would like to see 3 of the teams I'm okay with winning. First of all, I don't know a Oklahoma City fan to save my life. So shouts out to them. Go ahead and get it.
My
Oklahoma
nephew's
City.
a big one.
Really?
He was a big one in the KD Westbrook era, and he stayed with him.
Yeah.
Through that.
I have no clue who is a OKC fan. Secondly, got love for Indiana. I loved Reggie Miller. I always thought Reggie Miller was one of those guys that it felt like he was always alone, even though he had the Davis fan, Rick Smith, Travis Best, Mark Jackson, Jalen Rose. He had some great ball players around him, but it always felt like it was him against the world. And I like Reggie being a California guy, and I just like the fact that he got at Jordan. He didn't take nothing from Jordan. So I always respected Reggie. So I got love for the Pacers. Tyrese, that's one of my guys. And I'm not opposed to seeing Minnesota. I'm a huge Anthony Edwards fan. I would love for it, because I think if he wins, meaning him, and I know it's the rest of the team, it will escalate him to another level where I think he may be able to open up Pandora's box. I think he might be able to get 2 or 3, maybe even 4, and everybody you talk to throughout my experience, you watch film, you listen to players. We have the opportunity to be around a bunch of basketball guys in our career. Everyone says once you get one, the second and the third tend to come. It feels that way. And so, and Edwards is he's one of them guys, man. And I think if you give him one, he's a shark. He might go try to hunt for 2 or 3.
It was interesting last night, late in the game. They pretty much had it put away, but the Warriors were playing at a pace that they couldn't even maintain. But they were making some inroads. They were hanging in the game. And then we saw Coach Finch coming over to Ant and saying, come on, you got to finish. And Ant is good enough where he could easily just kind of, just turn his back on the guy. But he listened. I mean, that's to his credit. I know that their relationship is such that Ant allows Chris Finch to coach him hard. That was a good example of that. I think Ant only benefits from that. So that was nice to see. I appreciated that. By the way, you mentioned Reggie Miller. I would love to see what Reggie Miller would do if he played today. I believe there are many seasons. I can look it up. I think there are multiple seasons in which Kevin Love took way more three-point attempts in a season than Reggie Miller ever did.
Yeah.
Because the game has changed that much.
Reggie would obliterate records.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying Steph Curry, not maybe Klay Thompson. You know, those two guys are amazing. But Reggie, you know, was outstanding. And he was a ball player. He had an attitude, you know, as he always talks about, his attitude started at home because he had Cheryl Miller and he felt like he was always undervalued. He was the other Miller kid. He talks about that. And so he always wore that on his, on his sleeve and had the chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And he talked about, I don't know if you had the opportunity to see him on with Steph and Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson and Barnes, but just some of the things that he was talking about, it really fired me up as an athlete and, you know, kind of see some of his understanding. And I've had opportunity to see Reggie and hear him different interviews and actually interview him and have some conversations or two with him. And man, he's just a ball player. He's just a ball player, and I appreciate it.
Here's Reggie Miller, some of his 3-point attempts for his career. I'll just start 1991 per game: 3.9, 4.2, 5.1, 3.7, 5.8, 5.4, 6.6, which I think is the highest of his career. Then just look at Kevin Love, 3-point attempts per game: 5.1, 5.1, 6.6, 5.2, 5.7, 6.5, 5.6, 6.7, 7, 6.2. So Kevin Love took way more threes than Reggie Miller just because the game had evolved in that direction. So think of the damage Reggie could have done if they let him shoot more threes. But that's the nature of the NBA.
Yeah, no doubt. It's Reggie's a beast. And someone said Reggie took a lot from Jordan, a lot of L's. Well, yeah, no duh. Common sense. I didn't say that.
Did.
Yeah,
big list.
I didn't say like he won. I said he stood tall with Jordan. Listen to what I'm saying, 209. Pay attention. Jordan will tell you. Reggie was a fool, an absolute killer. He was one of the guys I hated playing. He was one of those dudes that I know was coming back at me. And I don't know how old the 209 that text in. I don't know how old they are, but Reggie didn't take no mess from Jordan. He'd be pushing on him. Go back and look at some of the game winners. It's not like he was bowing down. That's the thing about people with Jordan. It's like nobody ever did anything to Jordan ever. Didn't touch him. He's a magician. He's Houdini. He can't take L's.
You're not a big Jordan guy, huh?
I totally respect Jordan, but it just kills me how people like Jordan ain't never lost. How about you look at the first 6-7 years of his career?
Yeah, he struggled
and smacked around.
Meanwhile, Jeremiah Fears met with what teams? What's the deal with the Kings and Jeremiah Fears? Well, look at that. We'll wander deep down the rabbit hole next on Sacktown Sports.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
For 120 years, Ford has been committed to doing the right thing for America. And we're not going anywhere. That's why Ford assembles more vehicles in the U.S. than any other automaker and employs the most hourly auto workers in the country. That's not a boast. It's a pledge to the Americans who drive our vehicles and the capable people who build them, because our values can't be offshored. We do it for the people who make America: workers, farmers, first responders, communities. As long as America depends on them, they can depend on us. Ford Motor Company. From America, for America.
Based on S&P Global Mobility calendar year 2024 U.S. light vehicle production data. Assembled in the USA with domestic and foreign parts. Based on 2024 year-end hourly employment data.
Live and local, it's The Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Tough one for the Las Vegas A's of West Sacramento last night, Jay. Dodgers kind of evened things up with them after the A's humiliated the Dodgers on Monday or whatever, Tuesday, pardon me. Last night, Dodgers got them back. So rubber game of that series tonight. Ohtani went deep to start the game, and Dodgers pretty good ball club. Those pesky A's, those pesky A's, they can still win the series. They're a pretty good ball club.
Yeah. You know, they're a good ball club.
They're a good ball club.
Yeah. Pretty average if you ask me. Not playing.
Yeah. Yeah, if you lost to them, you'd have to say, pretty good ball club.
Yeah, those boys are it's amazing. You look at their lineups, goodness.
Yeah.
They're just cheating the game.
They are having a lot of injuries with the pitching.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah. Which baseball.
Keeping the Padres in it.
Yeah, Padres keeping themselves in it.
They can play ball too.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm
worried about that bullpen from the Padres.
We had a very shaky week so far.
Worried about them.
How about Los Gigantes?
Who?
Los Gigantes.
I don't even know what team that is.
Yeah, they lost, as we said yesterday, a tough one to Arizona. Arizona.
Depends on who you ask, Whitey, if it was tough or not.
Well, it was a difficult loss for them is what I mean.
There you go.
Yeah. But that's the best division in baseball, right?
It is.
Best darn division in baseball.
It is by far.
A lot of good ball clubs.
Yeah, Arizona there too. Arizona. You know what I am? Real fast. I am hyped that Ron Washington is coming back soon here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, with the Angels. Love Wash. Yeah, love Wash. Might have to try to get Wash on.
I would love that. I remember one time I went to watch the A's play in Arlington. It was when I had to stare down with A-Rod.
Oh, boy.
And went back to their hotel, and we were hoping maybe to catch up with Burns. He didn't have a good game, and they lost. It was like I wasn't going to bother him. But Wash is sitting there, just in front of the hotel room. It was on Saturday night, so they were going to play the next day. And I asked him something about Burnsy, and he just said something like, he's just got to start hitting them, but he's just got to play more consistently, just matter-of-factly. He didn't know me, but he's like, he just told me, like, he's just going to start playing better. He's just going to start hitting more consistently. He's like, thanks, Wash.
Dang.
Yeah, no nonsense.
Straightforward, huh?
Uh-huh.
I like it.
Uh-huh. Of course, that famous scene in Moneyball, I don't know if that actually happened, but supposedly Wash is the guy who said about playing first base, it's extremely difficult.
I've never seen Moneyball.
Really?
Never. No, because it's not good in reality.
Well,
it hasn't done anything.
I almost said just kind of a knee-jerk reaction, like, "Oh, you got to see it," but I wouldn't say that.
Right? Yeah.
What's
your take on it?
Yeah, some of the stuff in there is like, come on. It's not a great story because it didn't have a great ending,
right?
In real life,
right?
Either.
That's what I'm saying.
So as a movie, it's flawed, and then they went too far. And we talked to Dave Justice about this. In the movie, they trade for Dave Justice,
right?
And he goes into hitting the batting cage, and he's got to pay for his own sodas. And he's like, that.
What?
In the movie, he's got to get change to pay for his own sodas at the team batting cage.
Why?
Because they're so cheap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Dave Justice said, that's not real. That's
true.
Nothing like that ever happened.
Come on.
And in the movie, it's like they just find all these guys that are terrible on the scrap heap, and they win the division. And I don't believe there is any mention in the movie of Miguel Tejada,
okay,
Barry Zito, Tim Hudson, or Mark Mulder. And they were all pretty good.
Yes.
Because the narrative was, oh, no, it wasn't because they had good players. It's because they outsmarted everybody.
So basically, Scott Spezios of the world took care of business.
Right.
Really?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And Scott Hatterberg.
That
was a big story, but they kind of, being a
Did they use the real names, actual names of players?
Okay. Yeah. It was Chris Pratt with Scott Hatterberg.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think Royce Clayton, remember Royce Clayton?
Love
I think
Royce,
he was in the movie, but I don't know that he had a speaking part, but he was like in the movie, in some of the scenes he was playing shortstop or something.
Yeah.
Maybe he was Tejada. But anyway,
there aren't too many Giants that I like. Royce Clayton is one of them.
really,
Yeah, because growing up, there weren't. This sounds crazy because there were tons of them in the 70s and in the 80s, but I didn't really remember that many African American born shortstops.
mm-hmm.
Barry Larkin was another one, right?
Ozzie,
Yeah, but Ozzie was a little bit before my time.
Okay.
You know, like when he was super, super great. And he was great in the 80s for sure. So that's disrespectful, Hall of Famer. But that was by the time I kind of started watching sports, it was the 90s. You know, so it's like, oh man, Royce Clayton, shortstop, African American. That's pretty cool.
Gary Templeton, baby.
Gary Templeton, shots out again before my time a little bit. But yeah, he just kind of caught my attention.
Gary Templeton's a great guest on the radio. Gary Templeton was in this book I read once about, he was playing in a minor league game. You know, he was a great player, kind of flamed out. His career didn't last as long. He wasn't at his peak for very long, but he had like 100 hits from both sides of the plate. Anyway, he was playing in a minor league game, and I was reading about this in this book about strange events in baseball. And there's a pop-up, and they're playing somewhere in Florida, Jay. And everyone said, all the witnesses in this book said, the ball went up, and it did not come down. They never found it. They don't know where it went. They didn't find it anywhere. So we had Gary Templeton on to talk about it. I think at the time he might have been doing some stuff with a team in Chico.
Okay. I like it.
And he came on and he's like, yeah, he said, that really happened. He said, we have no idea where that ball went. That ball did not come down as far as we could tell. So
That's interesting.
it is.
Conspiracy theory?
You know, they didn't have drones then, so I don't know what happened. And the way he told it, you know, you could tell if he's like, oh yeah, it never came down. Wink, wink. No, he said
he was serious about it.
What happened? We don't know what happened. By the way, Giants in that National League West, you got the Dodgers at 20-15, the Padres 27-15, the Giants hanging on to third place, 25-19, and Arizona after beating the Giants last two games, they're 23-21. Tough division. Then you got Colorado at 7-36. Oh.
7 wins.
Yeah. Yeah, they're worse than the White Sox. And then the A's right now, 22-21. They're technically they're in fourth place, but they're only a game and a half behind the first place Mariners.
Mariners, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Right on that tail.
Yeah.
Right on that tail.
Wild card, you got the A's are a game and a half out of the third wild card. So they're at 22-21 with a tough stretch here. The Dodgers, and then of course they got the Giants. So could be an interesting summer around here with the A's. Let's hope so.
Yeah, I think they're going to be in the fight of, you know, wild card. I'm not sure that the division is that difficult. You know, I thought Houston would be down this year. Didn't really know what you're getting with Texas. The Angels kind of bottom of the barrel for me. You know, I thought it'd be a Seattle, and maybe Texas run, but who knows what Texas is bringing to it. The A's I felt would probably make about, you know, get to 75, 80 wins. And I know that sounds crazy, but they were right there kind of last year. You know, they had a good run at the end, and I felt they added some good talent, especially on the arm side. You know, the arms races is always an issue, but they also have some young guys. They just lack power. That's one of the things that they truly lack, is someone who's just going to go up there and give you 40 home runs. And I know there's not a lot of those guys.
Well, they got a couple guys. They got Soderstrom, and they got
hitting
Rooker.
40 home runs, man.
He got 10 now.
Yeah, show it to me. I believe it.
I think a bigger issue for them is that just their pitching's not that strong.
Yeah.
They're starting. They got guys like, I don't want to mention any names because these guys are all major leaguers, but like their first two pitchers on a good team would probably be third or fourth guys, you know?
Yeah, Sebby would probably be a third guy. Yeah.
Yeah, on a really good team. So then when you're matching up your one against another team's one and your guy's really a three, it just over the course of 162, every time you go through, it takes a little bit more out of you. So it's going to be interesting to see at the deadline if they're in a position where they feel like, you know what, we could add to this.
Do they even do that though?
I don't know. Who was it? Casey Pratt was on with Jose. Was it last week? He's filling in for Ellen. Casey Pratt, who knows the A's very well, he says he feels like they're committed to this year. I mean, he doesn't know, we don't know, but he seems to think that if the A's have a shot to upgrade at the deadline because they're hanging around, they might have to do it. If they don't, I think, it's going to be reflected in the attendance, but we got a long ways to go before that.
That's true.
Yeah. I wanted to talk here about what may or may not be going on with one of the top prospects in the NBA draft and the Kings. And it may be nothing. There's a lot of different explanations for this. I'm getting excited about it, Jay. I think we have stumbled across a clue here as to what the Kings are up to. It's very, very quiet around here. And we're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we may have that clue as to what the Kings are up to. Trading back into the first round, maybe hunting for a big name or two. If this is what they're doing, I like it. We'll look at that next. Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Louis C.K. in an all-new show, Ridiculous 2025 Tour.
When I was younger, you had to go in the bank. Remember that? You had to go inside the bank. Now you look in the bank, you're like, what are those people doing in there? Are they cleaning? The money's out here.
Friday and Saturday, June 13th and 14th, 8 p.m., the venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Louis C.K. live on stage.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is this weekend with Bailey Zimmerman.
Lead me all the way.
Cole Wetzel. Plus Billy Currington, Nate Smith, Ernest, and more. Friday and Saturday, May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo. Don't miss pop-up stores, food trucks, line dancing, and more. Country in the Park, celebrating 25 years, May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo.
Sponsored by the California Army National Guard. Get tickets and more info at CITPFest.com.
Carmichael Dave here for my good friends at American Energy. As a native Sacramentan, I can tell you, not that you need to know, that it might be nice right now, but turn the corner. Oh my God, it's so hot. Yeah, you know, summer is coming. And my friends at American Energy want to make sure you are dialed with your AC unit. So how about this half off tune-up right now? It's a special going on, just $24.50 to get your air conditioner tuned up. A free diagnostic. And oh, by the way, if you need a new AC unit, up to $3,500 in rebates on qualifying system installations. That's right. They've been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Give them a call, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Here's the song.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Memorial Day Race to Savings is on. Get the best deals of the season at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the Memorial Day Race to Savings, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
One of the hottest giveaways of the 2025 baseball season is finally here. The Sacramento River Cats are hosting Corduroy Bucket Hat Giveaway Night, presented by Power Market. This must-have fashion statement will be given to the first 2,500 fans inside Sutter Health Park for the River Cats game on Friday, May 30th. Be part of one of the most stylish nights of the 2025 season. Arrive early for Corduroy Bucket Hat Night on May 30th and get your tickets at rivercats.com.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Got Jay and Whitey today. We're going to take a look here what could be going on with the Kings. Maybe we're going to stretch it a little bit, but who knows? It's potentially very exciting. First, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Austin's been hanging on. Hey, Austin, you're on with Whitey and Jay. What's going on? Hey.
Hey, what's up, boys? I appreciate you taking my call. So I'm going to keep it short, but I'm so frustrated with the A's. Anybody who's listening, hopefully you heard that River Cats promo right before they got off break. Spend your money on them, not John Fisher, man. Being from Oakland, being from the Bay, I'm trying as hard as I can to be an A's fan, but I just can't do it anymore. You know, Soderstrom's cool, but, I mean, when they take my son to the park, he's like, hey, Dad, didn't that player used to play for another team? And I'm like, I don't know what gear to buy my sons and daughters, right? Like, what am I supposed to do as a father? I've been trying to support this team since 1999, right? And I went through the Moneyball thing. It's a good movie, but it's totally fake. Yeah. And I'm just frustrated. So I appreciate you guys for talking about the A's, but man, John Fisher is a thief, if you ask me. Have a good day, boys.
All right. Thank you, Austin. It's a very difficult situation. Sometimes I've started trying to talk about the baseball, just what's going on the field. But I understand for people like Austin, no. You can't gloss over everything else. And I appreciate that, Austin. And I've been an Oakland A's fan for a long time myself, so I understand what you're saying. And I just hope that for baseball, one of the reasons I'm hoping this doesn't end well for MLB, the whole A's relocation saga. I wish the best for, Mark Kotsay is phenomenal. I wish the best for the players, but this whole thing, wherever it ends up, I hope it doesn't end up. If it ends up in a good place, I hope it's at least very bumpy between now and then, because I want baseball to see when you disrespect fans to that extent, there's a price to be paid. When you take fans, you take advantage of fans, you take them for granted to that extent, there's a price to be paid. That's one of the coolest things to me about the whole A's relocation saga is fans all over the country. We saw it last year. The A's would go to Seattle, San Diego, wherever, and you had fans, I think Baltimore, they'd be wearing the Cell shirts because fans realize we're fans too. It could happen here. It probably won't because John Fisher doesn't own Padres or the Orioles or the Mariners. But if baseball's going to treat the fans in Oakland the way they did, why wouldn't they treat fans in other cities that way? So I really appreciate the way fans, to a degree, Jay, have bonded together on that front.
I think you're spot on. I can't say much more or add too much to that. I'm with you, and it's tough. And I've said it a few times, if not multiple times, if not too many times. I share the sentiment of Austin, and I think you've said that eloquently over the last couple of months and probably longer than that. This is a tough situation. And as an A's fan, a lifelong A's fan, since I can remember, 89 was really like my first memory, 4 years old, of kind of watching A's and, those type of things. But 5 years old, excuse me. It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough situation. And Austin, I'll tell you again, the A's were my first little league team at Lemon Hill Little League, which allowed me to start liking the A's here in Sacramento. I've yet to go to a game here in Sacramento. I'm just torn because I'm with him. I feel like I'm giving my money in. Look, I could pull back the curtain. I can get a free ticket. I probably can get a credential. But to me, it's just something, part of me, Whitey, right now, I'm just not cool with going out there.
Yeah. I went to a couple games when San Diego was here. My daughter and I, we like to go when San Diego's in town. She went to school in San Diego, went to a Giants game last year. So she wanted to go when the schedule came out. Let's go. So we went. Of course. Since then, a couple of times I've thought about it. It would be cool to go out there. But there's that voice, that same voice I hear like, you don't want to do that. Do it. Yeah. You don't want to do
it. And let me also say this, Whitey, for if you're listening, please go out there. Yeah, please have a good time. You do you. Please, exactly. Enjoy yourself. Austin has said he's went out there. It's a little difficult for him, because of his children. Man, go out there, have a ball, represent Sacramento. Go watch, friend of the show here, of course, Ramsey talks about going out, and you've talked about, watching Yankees and the Padres and having real big league ball clubs, the Dodgers, teams like that. When they do come through the city, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
It's big time. So I'm saying personally, internally, I'm fighting the situation.
Yeah.
But beyond that, please go do you.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't look down on anyone who goes.
No,
absolutely I would sure understand. Not. Someone like you says, I'm just not feeling it. Yeah. Or Austin's like, yeah, I know. I know what you're getting
John Fisher, baby.
Is this Ko?
It's KO.
KO on Sacktown Sports. Hello, KO. How are you?
Hey, fellas. Thanks for taking my call. I got a couple things. First, I hate Fisher as much as the next person, big time. But he has nothing to do with the players. The players aren't at fault. You got to support the players. They're out there. They're a cohesive unit. They're gelling together. They're really turning into something special. The second thing I have is, Jay, I got to beg to differ with you. As far as power goes with the A's, we're sixth in the league with 57 dingers. Also, Rooker hit 39 last year.
He did.
So he can be a 40 guy. So think about that for a minute. Thanks for taking my call. Keep up the good work, fellas.
Thanks, KO. Thanks for listening. It's nice to hear somebody excited about the young A's players. It's just such a complicated situation.
It is, and it's not. And KO is 100% right. It's not the players, man.
Yeah,
the players. They're fantastic.
Yeah,
they are great.
They've done a miraculous job of dealing with it. You hear maybe a whisper of complaint here or there anonymously.
Right.
I think was a player that when he got into his seat at his locker after a game, and there was water pooling in it from a leak in the ceiling. He wasn't happy about that, according to reporters who were there. But you didn't hear anything about that publicly. The A's players have done a marvelous job.
No, absolutely. And you talked about Kotsay. They have been fantastic this year, last year, and for many years.
Yeah.
Talk about Moneyball. There have been some great Oakland A's, great West Sacramento A's. Don't say Sacramento, who have come through the organization.
Jack Cust.
Oh, come on, baby. Yeah. There's just so many people. I always go, but one of my favorite guys, and I think it's just to pronounce his name, was Lance Blankenship. That was one of my guys.
Oh, yeah. Mike Gallego. He was a Cal guy.
Yeah, man. It's just so many great people who have come through as an Oakland A that, have caused me to be a fan for many years. 100%. Tony Kemp, just so many guys. My boy Weeks. There's just so many guys that I have affinity for. Love Ishavi, love Tejada. So many guys like that it's just difficult. It is. I will say this. Rooker hit 39. Butler came up strong. He had a heck of a back end of the season. I think he had 22. And Bangaliers had 29 last year. I just don't know. And Rooker may get to 40. Maybe. I doubt it. That's just me, though. But what I'm saying is the A's don't have the type of power. And I know there aren't that many teams out there. The ones that are good, as we've seen the Yankees come through here, the Dodgers, teams like that, the Braves, guys who could go out there and at any given time feel like you're going to get 40. That's what I'm saying. Butler reaching 25 this year will be miraculous. Langoliers getting 30 again is probably going to be miraculous.
They are, to KO's point, they're sixth in baseball in home runs right now.
And I think part of that is because what you've talked about, and I've pushed back on this a little bit, it's the ballpark. The ballpark is helping it. Absolutely. And we may see some higher numbers this year, but we'll take a look at the end of it all when the splits. That's going to be the thing. And they might have an opportunity, Rooker, maybe Bangaliers might have a little opportunity to push a few numbers up. But beyond that, like JJ Bleday at 20 last year, like Geloff has 17. Like
that was in a very short home run friendly park.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. Understandable. I get it. They just don't have the pop to me that you're gonna see. Jacob Wilson, those guys ain't just coming up blasting bombs. It doesn't happen.
Yeah. I still think the pitching would be more of an issue for him, but long ways to go. Speaking of the great A's that have come through here, do you remember, Jay? You probably saw this. There was a stairway from the upper level to the lower level, and it was behind home plate, and it was enclosed. It was near their offices, I think, and I'm sure they changed this once the Giants took over. But they had big pictures on the wall as you went down the stairs of all the River Cats who went on to play for the A's.
Yeah, I did.
Remember they
that.
had
I've seen that.
Like Justin Duxer and Hudson and Zito. And I think Mike Piazza had a picture up there. It was really cool.
I did. I saw that. Yeah. And I think the room is it red?
Yes.
It is red, like the River Cats red or whatever. Yeah, I've seen that. I've been through that room a few times.
Yeah. And I'm sure maybe they have Giants up there now. I don't know. But the A's ones were really
They shouldn't. Don't put those Giants things. No. I love it. And that was the great part of when the River Cats came, because they came from Vancouver, right? Yeah, they came from Vancouver, came down here. And for the longest, fans like Austin and sounds like KO, guys like that and gals, they showed up at River Cats ballpark. Remember for the first 3 or 4 years, and I don't want to speak out of pocket here, but I remember for a while, the first few seasons, they led the PCL in attendance.
And not just attendance. They won also.
Blew it out, right. Yeah. Championships also, too. Yeah. So I'd have to go back exactly how many years they led it, the PCL when it came to attendance in minor league baseball. But it's just fantastic, the support that the River Cats have had over these years. And that's the tough part is you have KO. You got fans like KO and fans like you and me and Austin and people like that. It's tough because even though KO has said, listen, go support the players 100%. And we're on record saying, go do you. There's still a drawback for fans like Austin.
Yeah.
Tough.
And I wondered this about KO. And KO, if you're listening, I'm not in any way, I'm not like questioning your loyalty or calling you out. I'm just curious, if and when the team moves to Vegas, will it still be your team? It sounds like it. And again, that's fine. But I'm just curious about that because, for some fans, they can't do that. And if you can, good for you. But it sounds like you're an A's fan no matter where they're playing. Maybe I'm wrong. And like I say, I'm not passing judgment either way. But as I'm thinking about your comments, which were interesting, I'm wondering about that. Because you're right. As a baseball team, it's a young team that has a lot of promise here. And it's kind of fun watching this come together if you can just block from your mind where it could all be going and how they got to this point in the first place.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We've seen it happen with the Raiders, but we've also been on record saying the Shield, that's a logo. The Raiders are one of those teams you kind of follow, the brand, right? The A's aren't a brand.
Yeah.
They're not a brand. They've always been treated like a stepchild.
They've treated
so
themselves like a stepchild, ownership anyway.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And you've seen it even longer than I have. And so it's a great point. It will be interesting. And they may be going to a place where they not only get treated like a stepchild, the redheaded stepchild in Las Vegas. They may be fifth on the list after the Blue Man Group.
Don't sleep on the Blue Man Group. Right? What's that guy?
The Blue Man Group might be bringing in more fans than the A's in Vegas, man.
All right, we'll get to what the Kings may be up to and more in the Blue Man Group when we come back to Sacktown Sports.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports injury update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Zach Geloff suffered a setback as he was pulled from his rehab assignment with AAA Las Vegas due to a stress reaction in his ribs that occurred while taking a swing. There's no timetable for his return. Ken Waldichuk, out with that left elbow sprain, threw all 30 of his pitches in a side session last week and will throw another session this week and is targeting a return during the All-Star break. This injury report was brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Hey, I'm Alan Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222 and visit them at calldowntown.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-961-5544. 800-961-5544.
Memorial Day savings explode at Matus Elk Grove Chevy. Save $12,500 off MSRP after rebates. Every new 2025 Silverado Turbo Max in stock.
And Matus Chevy has similar savings on every new Silverado. One of the largest selections of new Silverado in the Sacramento area.
$12,500 off new Silverado. Exclusively at the Matus Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MatusChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Spring 2011 not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers.
Get ready for a summer of music, comedy, and thrills with the Sacktown Sports Live events calendar. Kick it off with Punk Legends, The Damned at Ace of Spades, May 31st. Then laugh it up with comedian Kathleen Madigan at Hard Rock Live Sacramento, June 7th. Country bands, mark your calendars. Whitey Morgan and the 78s roll into town June 19th, followed by jam-packed June 21st. Tainted Love is at Ace of Spades. Lee Bryce and Walker Hayes are at Ironstone Amphitheater, and Penn and Teller are at Thunder Valley. Then it's 3 days of music and wine at the Country Summer Music Festival, June 27th through the 29th at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds. Don't miss the tradition and thrills of the Folsom Pro Rodeo, July 3rd through 5th, followed by country superstar Cody Johnson at Golden One Center, July 18th. August brings legends. Catch Rick Springfield August 1st and Parker McCollum at the Ironstone Amphitheater June 16th. Grab your tickets now and don't miss a beat. Only with Sacktown Sports.
San Francisco! What a laser from Brock Purdy, and what a catch.
San Francisco 49ers single game tickets are available now.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Fred gets up and runs back the other way. One block and he's in. Gonna throw left for the end zone. It's caught by George Kittle.
Secure your seats at 49ers.com/tickets.
Touchdown!
Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the biggest selection, the best prices, and unbeatable customer service. Check them out online, sacksuperstore.com, for the guaranteed lowest price on Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Open until 10 o'clock and right across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. sacksuperstore.com.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Thank you for being with us today. By the way, I want to thank everybody for participating as well. This from Ramsey. Thank you, Ramsey. He says the River Cats still have jerseys, both A's and Giants players, hanging up on the walk up the to the upstairs level of Sutter Health Park.
They should take them Giants pictures down.
And from the 209, Jay, you were talking about how you were a big fan of African-American shortstops, and there weren't that many when you were growing up. 209 says Sean Dunston.
Yeah.
See a little before your time?
No, because he played a lot in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
Sean was
Giants.
definitely one of those
Yeah.
guys. Yeah, definitely. And then they started, like Pokey Reese came along. There were some guys, of course, Derek Jeter. But yeah, I felt like there weren't that many at the time of when I first started watching baseball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had more second baseman, Sweet Lou, Brandon Phillips, guys like that. But I just felt like it wasn't that many. And
I haven't
obviously,
thought of that, but as you say it, I'm going, yeah, I think you're right. Even when I started watching baseball, like Maury Wills.
Yeah, love Maury Wills.
And then, I don't remember a lot of other ones that early.
Yeah, it's one of those positions it seems like there's a shortage of African Americans. And so it was just one of those things. Plus, Giants being in the backyard, going to Giants games as a kid, seeing Royce Clayton right there.
Yeah.
It's like, man, Royce Clayton. Yeah, okay, love it. And he was a stalwart for the Giants for quite a long time. He part of the Giants felt like easily, 5 or more years. So it's just one of those things. I just paid attention. And of course, growing up watching Giants games, just based on it was on here locally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Somebody here in the chat says Ozzie Smith, Gary Templeton. Yes, we mentioned those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gary Templeton was with 2 R's, but I have to double check on that. But yeah, we're trying to get him on the show to talk about the time he played in a minor league game and somebody hit a pop up and it never came down.
Might have to try and hunt him down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
GT.
Yeah, he's still around. Yeah. So anyway, we've been talking about a number of things here, and I keep putting this off, but this is really the main course here, Jay. You know that Jeremiah Fears is a top prospect coming up in the draft. You take a random mock. You can look at any of the mocks that are out there. I just happen to have Tankathon's mock here. But where do we find Jeremiah Fears? They have Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe, Trey Johnson, Con Knuppel. Jeremiah Fears is 7th in this one. That's about where he ends up. He's a top 10 prospect for the most part in this draft. You may find him dropping down more towards 14, but he's a top player in this upcoming draft.
No doubt.
A young guy from Oklahoma, point guard, 6'4", not even 19 years old yet. He averaged more than 20 points a game last year. So, he's at the combine, and somebody asked him, what teams have you met with? And he said he's met with New Orleans, which makes sense. The Sixers, they have the 3rd pick, Dallas, San Antonio. And he mentioned Sacramento. Why would a guy who's going to go 7th, maybe higher, why would he talk to Sacramento? Are the Kings looking to trade back into the first round, Jay?
But you know that it's Sac.
Could this be a clue as to what they're planning?
Could be.
Could be.
You don't get on the phone with nobody and just waste hot air, do you?
Well, I don't think so. Now, there's one theory that makes perfect sense, which is he talked to them before the lottery. They didn't know if they were going to win the lottery, and maybe they felt, let's talk to him. He might be a guy we take if we win. I don't know that there's a lot of other teams that were in the spots right around where the Kings were that talked to him. I mean, maybe they were just doing their due diligence. I think there's more to it because I want to think there's more.
That a boy would. Hey, listen, do what you need to do. Do you?
Yeah,
I'm with you. There's got to be a little smoke. Might be simmering a little bit. You know,
I ran across something else today that might relate to this.
You got a little backup?
These things may be connected, maybe not.
Okay.
You tell me what you think. From The Ringer, Howard Beck, friend of the show, wrote about this today. He's talking about how there could be a lot of trades in the draft. He says, will the 2025 NBA draft be top heavy with trades? So he's just asking a question. He's just surmising, theorizing. And he talks about how it could be a handful of the top teams in the draft that trade. He talks about the Philadelphia 76ers. He says, if you assume Embiid will never be the same again, that George is already cooked, that this era is a bust, then it makes sense to keep that number 3 pick and you add another young talent to form a post-Embiid core. But he says this, in a sense, though, is a moment of truth for the Sixers. They confidently insist that Embiid will make a full recovery and dominate once again. If they privately have doubts, though, it makes sense to keep the pick and build for the future. But if the Sixers truly believe they're still contenders now with Embiid as a centerpiece, then it's hard to see how Bailey or VJ Edgecombe or any other rookie will help the cause. So Howard Beck says the Sixers, currently with a 3rd pick, either trade the 3rd pick outright for an established player or perhaps trade down in the order and pick up more rotation pieces in the swap. Or, as one rival exec suggested, the Sixers could flip the pick for a collection of future picks.
Okay.
I know a team that can help them with a couple of those things.
Okay.
You know, you need an established player.
Oh, yeah.
You need a Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, put you over the top. Let's talk. Right?
Ooh.
I have no way of knowing if it's true. I'm not suggesting that.
Theorizing.
Yeah. This is a done deal, but it's very interesting.
Oh, I think it was Draper. Was Draper the one that sent that? Will Guillory, who covers the Pelicans, right?
I saw it yesterday, and I was hoping to surprise you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw that come through the texter, and I'm like, Sacramento Kings, Jeremiah Fears. Jeremiah Fears is a predicted top 10 easy.
Yes,
pick.
easy.
The Kings talking to him for.
Right.
But, I hadn't thought about the angle you just talked about, which is you don't know prior to Monday where you were going to sit at.
Yes.
If you're the Sacramento Kings. So you probably should be doing your due diligence with everybody, everyone.
Yeah.
Now, it'd be interesting to maybe if someone would double down on that and say, well, when was that prior? Now, of course, most reporters that's not here based in Sacramento probably would care about that. But that would be interesting if they're still talking to top 10 type guys, caliber guys, or lottery type caliber guys. And even if not, you're still talking to guys that are pretty much secure in going in the first round. That may be tipping the hat. And that's interesting. That's very interesting. If I'm the Kings, I'll say this. If I'm the Kings, I don't want Jeremiah Fear saying that.
Right.
Please don't be saying, don't talk about that.
Right.
Don't do that.
But, they probably just talked to him.
They probably did.
And he's like, who have I talked to? Well, I've talked to this team and that team and that team. Yeah, I'm with you. So maybe it's innocent. Maybe it's nothing. But because I want it to feel like more, it feels like more. It smells like more.
Ah, boy.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's been too quiet around here, hasn't it?
It has.
What's going on with DeMar?
Eerily quiet.
What's going on with Domantas Sabonis? I haven't heard anything.
The only thing I say to that, though, Whitey, is they're trying to get their house in order.
Yes.
And so when you're trying to get your house in order, before you invite guests, you want to make sure your coffee table is right, your end table's on point, you got your TV set up properly.
I agree.
You got your receiver and your high def cooking. So I think they're trying to get their household in order. Got the patio, the back furniture moving and grooving.
Sure.
The Napoleon, of course, got to have that lined up. It's just one of those things where it is interesting that the Kings are reaching out to people. And what is one of the things we've talked about with Scott Perry is he knows a lot of people.
Right.
He's got a bunch of relationships. He is highly respected. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
Why haven't the other teams talked to him? Why didn't the other teams that could have won the lottery talk to him? Maybe, like say, the Kings are just saying, oh, we might win. Let's talk to this guy. Let's just look real quickly at another mock draft. I don't think we need to prove the point that this Jeremiah Fears is a top prospect, but just to further emphasize it. CBS Sports, 1, Cooper Flagg, 2, Dylan Harper, 3, Ace Bailey, 4, VJ Edgecombe, 5, Knuppel, 6, Trey Johnson, 7, Colin Murray Boyles, 8, Jeremiah Fears.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Brooklyn Nets.
He's a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody believes he's a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if he did come here, and I know this is still all very speculative, and this theory's held together with, a little Scotch tape and some Band-Aids and paper clips and things. But he's so young, he would be, I think, just what Kings fans need. I know the basketball ops can't worry about what fans want. It's something to consider, but they have to be more concerned with other things. My point is, though, this would be a guy who's so young that a lot of Kings fans could feel like he's our new hope. We got a guy, and he's not even 19 yet.
I know. Dang. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Jeremiah Fears here. I haven't seen a lot of him, and normally this is when we start to do a lot more research here around Sacramento, unfortunately, because we're normally within, inside the lottery. I'm going to do a little more research on him, but the little body of work that I've seen him, I like his physique. He kind of looks like Tyrese Halliburton a little bit.
Yeah.
Like he's pretty nimble, kind of skinny, railish,
6'4",
long.
182.
Yeah. He kind of resembles Tyrese to me a little bit, but I like his handle. I think he's not finished growing. It sounds crazy, but guys don't finish growing, especially once you put them in a weight room, get them on that workout plan. And I like his shot. I know a lot of people, they're like, he's got to work on a little bit, but doesn't that sound like Tyrese? Isn't that kind of what we talked about?
Yeah.
That's slow. And his release is not slow. It's not as funky, but yeah, I like it.
Cam Salerno for CBS Sports says of Fears.
Yep.
Fears is a crafty guard capable of filling an immediate hole in Brooklyn's backcourt. If he could do it for them, he could do it here.
Of course.
Then you have your point guard, and you're getting younger. And, oh, man, I like this, Jay. Let's just hope. Fingers crossed. So we'll keep our ears open for whatever could be next. I'm also with you. If there's anything to that, the Kings are going,
you might get a text message from somebody over there in the G1C. Be quiet, Whitey.
Yeah. We don't want anyone knowing that we don't want someone to leapfrog
poking
us.
Around. Yeah, we're poking around.
See, that's the other beauty. If you get the 3rd pick, you're in pretty good shape. It's going to be hard for somebody to leapfrog you if you get pick number 3 from the Sixers.
I truly believe, and I've said this, I think this is a 4-man race. I think depending on how it lays out, you'll see Harper, and it sounds like from everything that Spurs are pretty much locked in on Harper. And we know that could be smoke.
Yeah, the 3rd pick, you might have a shot at him too.
Right. And that's the other part about it is it's if the Spurs keep throwing it out there and we hear some of these reporters, it's Harper, they might have their eye on somebody else, but I truly believe it's an Ace Bailey, Harper, Flagg, VJ top 4 in some form or fashion in that order. I think 5 is when the draft starts. If you can cut, you get close to 5. Now I don't know what it's going to take to, and I know we're wishing and hoping on a star. We're praying on a rabbit's foot, but man, how you get there?
Yeah, you're right. If I got the 3rd pick, I might be able to do better than Fears.
Yeah, I bet.
Fears is a phenomenal prospect.
Yeah, you should be looking at one of the top 4 guys.
Spice Adams is going to join us next hour. Going to talk a little 49ers and get ready for the Dwight Clark Legacy Series. When we come back, we'll tell you what the 49ers' biggest games of the year all have in common next on Sacktown Sports.
Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/score. That's ethos.com/score.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Memorial Day is the unofficial beginning of summer and a time to reflect on the blessings we enjoy living in this country. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. At Naturewood's Memorial Day sale, you choose the offer. It's like 2 sales in one. Take 10% off regular prices or get 24 months of no-interest financing with payments on approved credit. Then you can choose from living rooms, sofas, sectionals, dining rooms, bedrooms, home offices, and so much more. Whether you're looking to lighten the mood in your living room, brighten up your bedroom, or tighten up your home office, you can shop and save big on the best selection of quality furniture, including Sacramento's largest selection of furniture made in the USA. Shop the area's best selection of quality furniture at Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for that water wheel.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
With so many ways to warm up before golf, a group of university researchers tried to cut through the clutter. 24 low handicap players were split into groups. The first group was instructed to hit 9 shots in a row with 4 different clubs at set targets. The second group also hit 36 shots, but in a random order. Maybe 1 shot with a driver, 1 with a 7-iron, another with a wedge, and so on. Then all the golfers from both groups hit 9 test shots that simulated the kind of shots they'd hit on the course. Results found that the group who practiced with randomized shots performed better than the first group. Well, that's one study, but it's probably important to note that rather than hit a bunch of shots with 3 clubs, you might be better off hitting different clubs to different distances. You'll have practice shots to different targets with different clubs, presumably just like you'll do on the golf course. Give it a try. What do you have to lose except a few shots on your scorecard? That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
At SMUD, we power local business with incentives on clean energy equipment, tools to manage electricity usage and save money, tailored solutions from dedicated strategic account advisors, and 50% lower rates than neighboring utilities, all while doing more for the planet with clean energy solutions, savings, reliability, personalized service, clean energy, helping local businesses thrive. That's our clean power promise. Learn more at smud.org.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
KHD HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacramento's official home of the 49ers.
San Francisco.
Sacktown Sports 1140. Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
It's Jay and White today, Drive Guys, Drapes. Hopefully back with us tomorrow. In about 10 minutes, we're going to talk with Anthony Spice Adams, former 49er, in addition to a million other things that he does now. He's a comedian. He's all over social media. He is going to be participating in the Dwight Clark Legacy Series next week. And so we're going to talk to Spice about that, maybe get his views on the schedule as well. Yesterday, Jay, of course, we, with the help of Jose, we were looking at the brand new schedule for the NFL and the 49ers when it broke. I saw this today from Matt Mayoko. You know, always listen to the beat writers. They know. Matt Mayoko, and I'm sure he was forced to do this. This isn't the type of thing I think he'd normally do, but he had to come up today with a game-by-game prediction for the 49ers based on the new schedule. You know, Matt Mayoko is a very responsible journalist. He probably said, how do I know? And they said, do it. I said, okay. So he's got them going 11-6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that.
It's interesting when you look at the games the 49ers are playing, and this is a byproduct of having what looks like an easy schedule. the biggest games as it appears right now. Now, you know, if you're playing a game for first place down the road, then whoever you're playing in that game is a big game. You can't anticipate that. But as far as the marquee games, the biggest games, Jay, are the divisional games because you don't have that big Eagles game or Cowboys game or Chiefs game this year on the schedule.
I'm not opposed to it. And I know, you know, it's not the best for entertainment, but man, I give anything almost, not anything, but I give a lot to see this team make it to the Super Bowl and win something. So I don't care if they got to play the local high schools in San Jose and Santa Clara area. Yeah, please. They could be playing charter schools for all I care.
Yeah.
Go out there and take care of business. But yeah, I think you're right. The Rams, Seahawks, those seem to be the point games for the 49ers this year. And even, you know, like you talked about it yesterday, Carolina on a Monday night. It's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, they do have the 5 primetime games, but they don't have that big, watch out for their showdown against even, you know, they don't even play Washington, right?
Nope.
Yeah. So those games against the divisional foes figure to be the biggest games of the year. And what does it mean here as far as the 49ers having the easiest schedule in the league based on the combined winning percentages of last year's teams? Not sure it means much. The past 3 teams that entered the season with the easiest schedule all finished with losing records. So I can't imagine the 49ers finishing with a losing record.
I bet not.
But it's just very deceiving because obviously the teams they're playing this year are not the teams that compiled that terrible record last year.
Right. And 9 times out of 10, and we know how you did last year normally prepares you for your season this year and how difficult your schedule is. I think it was an anomaly for the 49ers to be, you know, as bad as they were last year. And they have a lot of talent that is, of course, coming back, and they're retooling a little bit. You got solid bouncing back. But I think it's one of those where, and we see it in the NBA, someone gets hurt, you know, star player, Embiid, Tyrese Maxey. But if they come back next year and play a full season, it's kind of like, oh, they stole a top draft pick and those guys are coming back. It's just one of those things for the 49ers. They have an opportunity. They need to take advantage of it.
They do. Matt Mayoko points out how this last place schedule helps the 49ers potentially compared to where the Rams are, because you got the Rams and the 49ers, of course, they face each other twice. You look at the schedule. They play each other twice. They have 12 common opponents. But then you take the other 3 games, and for the Rams, those 3 matchups are Philadelphia, Detroit, and Baltimore. The 49ers, those 3 games are against the Giants, the Bears, and the Browns.
Love it.
Advantage.
Take it.
San Francisco.
Even though they lost to the Browns lately. Yeah. I'm with you.
So they got that opportunity there, Jay. They've got that golden opportunity.
They got to take advantage of it, Whitey. Let me tell you, 49ers have everything in front of them. And we've said this numerous times over the last handful of years. They have to cash in on the lottery ticket. If the ticket is given to you and you already have 4 numbers, you know, you got to cash in on that last number or 2. And the 49ers have everything in front of them moving forward this season. They have what is supposed to be a proposed week schedule. You have guys coming back. You know, you got to take care of it. And Salah's here. You know, that's what everybody's talked about. So they need to take advantage. If they go 8-9, 9-8 with this schedule, then this team definitely needs to rebuild.
Here's another encouraging tidbit for 49er fans. The 49ers don't play a single 2024 playoff team over the final 8 weeks of the season.
Yes. And
coasting home.
And
there was a kid, I don't know that I ever did this, but you're on your bike, you know, and there's a hill near your house, and you get up that hill and you just put your arms out and you just coast on home.
You did that. What do you mean you don't
I didn't
know
have
if
a
you
big
ever did
house. I didn't have a big hill near my house.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. But that's what the 49ers will do this year.
On top of that,
coasting home.
They don't have anyone coming off a bye. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they have no team allegedly coming off a bye. That's interesting.
Yeah, things set up for them to make another one of their, you know, Kyle Shanahan second half runs here. It's a done deal. It's going to happen. Why are we pretending it's not a done deal? Maybe because you have people like this. Adam Schefter. Thank you, Jay, for sending this. Adam Schefter on the 49ers week schedule. It's set up for the 49ers to win. The league believes in the 49ers. They scheduled them on primetime 5 times, even after they went 6-11. So the NFL is saying the 49ers are going to be back. And they might be. But I'm just going to warn you, this is a team that has got a lot of holes right now, and we'll see how this all shakes out. Adam Schefter. You can tell me about Brock Purdy's contract, this or that, but you don't know who's going to win. You don't know anything about football.
You're trying to hear those analytics from that analysis.
He's got 3 more years left on his contract. Okay, great. I didn't know that. But they have a lot of holes in their roster. That's not what I need you for, Adam Schefter. That's not what you're here for. You're not Troy Aikman or somebody, all right? You know
Mark
what I mean?
Schlereth,
Yeah, they have a lot of holes in the roster. That's not for you to say. How would you know? It's not your concern.
That's true.
Yeah.
He's around the game.
Where are they relative to the cap? All right, what do you got? What do the receivers look like this year? I'll ask somebody else. I don't need to hear that from you.
I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from.
That's all I'm saying. Shefty's great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, he doesn't stay.
Stay in your lane. That's what I'm saying. Anthony Spice Adams is going to join us next on Sacktown Sports.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. What's going on, Chad, for Chrysler's Employee Pricing Plus event?
If you've been struggling to find the right Ram heavy duty that fits within your budget, the search is over with Hoblet's Employee Pricing Plus event, where we give you the employee price and then take even more off. Right now, save up to 10% off MSRP on brand new 2025 Ram heavy duty 2500s and 3500s. Don't miss your chance to save big like the Employee of the Month at Hoblet Dodge.
And you're always one of the top Ram truck dealers in the entire nation.
It's true, and I think it boils down to our huge selection of hard-to-find Ram heavy duties with over 300 available and our award-winning customer service.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com.
10% total net savings on select new 2025 Ram 3500 Laramie after $1,500 factory rebates and $9,075 dealer discount, including employee pricing for all. Rebates include $500 on the job upfit. Must show eligible upfit. And Hoblet discount between $7,100 and $9,075, depending on trim level, for a total of 10% off MSRP. Aid of this net savings. Sample VIN 02043. See dealer for details.
There are so many benefits of working with the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento. Now, we chose them to get our new garage doors, and we're so thrilled that we did. They look absolutely amazing. Jason Ross here. And for us, well, we just flat out needed new garage doors. But maybe you do as well, or maybe it's just repairs to your existing doors. Well, the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento can help you with that. It is also a great time of year because this is when homes go on the market. So is yours ready? Well, one thing, don't forget about that garage door, because a new garage door can increase the value of your home. First off, with Curb Appeal, a new modern or stylish garage door can improve the overall appearance of your house. Also, the return on investment. It is one of the most cost-effective upgrades to increase your home value. You can see for yourself. Just visit the showroom on Franklin Boulevard and ask about the Sacktown Sports Special. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Jay, I think I can speak for you when I say that we are we're really honored to be part of the promoting the 5th annual Dwight Clark Legacy Series again this year. Yeah,
absolutely.
And the 5th annual is actually this year. It's going to be at the Hammer Theater in San Jose, May 21st, so next Wednesday. Tickets and all event details are available now at DwightClarkAward.com. And headlining this year's event going to be a discussion with Charles Haley, who I think is going to be with us tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Garrison Hurst, Fred Warner, longtime legendary photographer Michael Z-Man Zagaris, who we had on last week. And this discussion will include our next guest, former 49er, Bear, actor, comedian. He does so many things, I don't even know what to call him, Jay. I'd call him a social media monster. I don't know if that's acceptable to him. Let's find out. Anthony Spice Adams. How are you, Spice?
I'm good, man. How y'all, man? I see y'all bumping that Pope Pimp.
Come on now, Spice.
Man, dude, that just took me back right there, man. That Pope Pimp. Put up in the father. That's my joy.
Hey, we going to put on for Chi-Town for you a little bit.
AC blows, AP dogs, P-I-M-P. That's my joint, man.
We appreciate your time here. I got to ask you, and I heard that you were doing an interview somewhere else, and I heard you tell this story. Your draft day story is one of the better ones out there. Is it true, Spice, that when the 49ers called you to tell you you'd been drafted, you actually hung up on the GM?
Yeah. So before all of that even happened, I was in Pennsylvania. So there's a lot of mountains and everything out there. So my signal was fading already.
Yeah.
So I could barely hear anybody already. And then I was getting prank calls from some of my friends. So when he did actually call me, I hung up on him. Yeah. And then what makes matters worse, I got drafted during a commercial break too. So, you know, I didn't see everybody come up on the podium and announce my name or anything like that. You know how they start playing the special music and then they show all your stats and stuff. I didn't get all of that because I was like, it was like a Wendy's commercial.
Yeah, Taco Bell. Come buy this new number one, the double deluxe.
Yeah, man, I got drafted while people was talking about a Baconator.
Yo, Spice, man, this is my first time ever having an opportunity to, interview you or have a conversation with you, man. Everyone knows you, I think now, and it sounds interesting, and maybe everyone is not the proper word, but there are a lot of people who know you not for football. They know you for something else, being a social media influencer. Is that peculiar for you because you put in so much time to make it to the NFL and Penn State and put in that work and that time and that effort? Do you ever take a step back and say, man, don't forget about my football career?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question too, because, I've been playing football for 18 years, man. And then, you got your off season where you're training so much and blah, blah, blah. But at the same token, it's a testament to the work I've been doing now. Like there's a lot of times I put a video out or like a meme or something like that. And then like right after that, it'd be a throwback Thursday or something. I'll put a picture up of me, making a tackle with the Niners uniform on. And they're like, man, you getting crazy with this Photoshop. That is crazy that you made this meme with AI and all of this stuff that's going on. And people don't even reckon. They don't even realize that I actually played 9 years of professional ball. Like, and it's crazy, man. But it's just a testament to the work that I'm doing now, man. And it's all love, man. I don't look at it as, oh man, you should know me because I play. Like I had a helmet on. Like nobody saw and I play nose guard. Like unless you're a purist, like you don't know what the nose guard looks like. And if they hear your name on the game, that must mean you getting pancaked.
Anthony Spice
go in there and make some noise, baby.
Yeah. Spice is going to be at the Dwight Clark Legacy Series. Again, this is the 21st. So next Wednesday in San Jose. Tickets at dwightclarkaward.com. And this benefits the Golden Heart Fund, which we've talked a lot about on the show, providing comprehensive support for former 49ers facing a variety of challenges. And Spice, I know you guys are going to be honoring the Z-Man. We had him on last week. What kind of role did he have? Legendary photographer. What was it like to have him hanging around the team when you first joined the 49ers and saw this photographer going everywhere with the team?
I didn't recognize how huge Z-Man was for the 49ers. But I found out fairly quickly just on a bus ride, you see him, he going to the back of the bus with all of us. Like he on there chopping it up with us. And then my rookie year, I go into the locker room on game day and Z-Man has a whole entire locker as if he's going out there to play the game.
The photographer at a locker?
Listen, Z-Man had his own cleats that had Z-Man on the cleats. I'm not even joking, dude. Like, I go to take a shower, he's already in there. I'm like, what is going on, man? Like, and then he has his own laundry. He has his own laundry there, his own laundry bag.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, man, is he playing? Or like, what is, I've never seen, is this guy a kicker? I've never seen, like, I'm a rookie, so I'm new to this. I'm like, is he on the squad? But I didn't put two and two together till I saw him out there with the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, this is the photographer. And so I'm like, man, let me get to know this guy, man. This guy got on like a French hat. He's painting like Bob Ross. Like, what is going on? Like, let me find out more about this guy that they call Z-Man. And before long, you know, you start hearing the stories of, and then you start seeing the pictures that, oh, this is the Rolling Stones.
Mm-hmm.
This is me backstage with Jimi Hendrix.
Mm-hmm.
This is me with the Beatles. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, this is like a regular picture. This is not like a picture of him on stage. Like, they're backstage, like, laughing and joking and stuff. I'm like, man, this dude is the real deal. So he would tell us all these stories, and we'd laugh and joke, and you could just be yourself around Z, man. So the fact that Z is turning 80,
Man.
that is awesome, man. That is awesome, man. Like, he got Woodstock stories. Ain't a lot of people walking around and give you a Woodstock story.
And can remember it at that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to believe it. I mean, ask somebody else.
Right, you can't fact check it.
Let me find somebody else who's 80 so I can, you know, fact check. Yeah.
Yeah, especially joined by Spice Adams, Anthony Adams, of course. Spice, man, one of the things, and to peel back the curtain a little bit before we had jumped on, I had a quick conversation with you, but something that I see you, and we're super inclined with this, man, is, you know, family. I've seen you talk about family, talk about brotherhood, talk about being a father, dad, you know, someone that I believe me and you both had the same situation. I didn't grow up with a father. You know, I was single parent household, and I believe I've seen you say that. What does that mean for you growing up in the D, first of all, you know, and what does that mean for you on a daily now, man? Like, how much does that play a role? You know, people talked about you giving away tickets to the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Like, how much does giving back, family play a role in your life?
It's huge, man. And I think it's probably why I grew up without having a father figure in my home, because that made me feel that void with my kids. Like, I understood what it's like to look up in the stands and know that your dad is not going to be there. You know what I'm saying? My son will never understand what that feels like. My daughters will never understand what it feels like to be without a dad. Never. And so I vowed to always be a great dad to them, because I didn't have that. You know, my dad went to prison when I was 4. And I'm not, like, ashamed to talk about it. It is what it is. He made decisions. He made some bad decisions. And he paid the price for it. When he got out, I got him a car. I got him suits. I got him a laptop. I got him back on his feet. And now he's been working at Ford for over 10 years. He's in the union.
Man, that's dope.
You know, he's doing great. So family is everything to me. And just going above and beyond for somebody who is sick or shut in, or some people. I gave Super Bowl tickets to a kid who had the most improved report card from one semester to the next. And that same very kid just got an academic scholarship and just graduated from college. So
man,
it's a lot of little things that go on in life that God presents things to you. And, you know, it's fight or flight. Like, what are you going to do? And I think my mom did a great job in, you know, making sure that giving back was important, especially from where you came from. Never forget where you came from. And my mom just did an excellent job in raising a young boy to be a man in the city of Detroit.
So, Spice, how much does this opportunity mean to you, speaking of family, the chance to come back for the Dwight Clark Legacy Series and help out members of the 49er family who've kind of fallen on hard times?
Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet. Because, you know, like, at the end of the day, people are struggling, and, you know, the terrible disease of ALS that Dwight Clark had that took his life in 2018, the fact that we're honoring his legacy and we're honoring Z-Man. It's a great thing to be a part of. And I can't wait to get on stage to relive some of those memories of being at Monster Park or Candlestick Park, whatever it's called when you were there.
3Com Park at Candlestick
the below
Park.
sea level stadium that smells great. I can't wait to get with the guys and talk about it, man. But yeah, the Golden Heart Fund with Dwight Clark, the Dwight Clark series, this is great. I think this is the 5th year that they're having it. And I can't wait to get on stage, man, and just see Z-Man turning 80, dude. This is great, man. It's a great thing to be a part of, man. And I'm glad that, you know, my small time at the Niners, you know, somebody remembered me to say, hey, bring this guy back here so he can tell us some stories. So I'm glad to be a small part of it.
Man, that's dope. Still got 40 tickets left. I just got the word from the inside. They only have 40 tickets left. So the WhiteClarkAward.com, you can go grab those. Spice, man, I've always wanted to ask you this. You have a ton of characters, you know, OG, Cream, Biggums. There's like so many different you know, names and characters that you done already threw out there. Of course, coming from, you know, the hood, the neighborhood, OGs, you look like my uncle or my grandfather, those type of things. How do you come up with the names? Like, what, beside the natural, organic way of, like, you probably came across people where you grew up to come out with some of these characters. How do you come up with some of the names?
Well, all you had to do is go to church, and Vernus gonna be there.
Vernus for sure.
Mildred is gonna be there. Ruth, Edith, all of them gonna be there, man. These are all the people that was around our neighborhood who used to come over for barbecues and playing spades and dominoes. These is everybody that I observed in Detroit, and I was the only child. So, you know, I always wanted people to come back over to my house. So I would, you know, do little quirky stuff and make people laugh. So they always want to come over. So, you know, we always had people over to the house, and, you know, it was nothing funnier than do but just laugh at the old heads. It was the best. So I observed them. Sometimes they'll give me some games. Sometimes if I went to the store and got them some cigarettes, you know, they'll tell me a story or two. So, you know, I had a great time, you know, growing up in Detroit. And I, you know, as you can see, I put it to use.
Yeah. We'll let you go on this one. And I don't know if you can tell us too much about this, but I know you spend time in Chicago. That's where the NBA Combine is. And the Kings could use some wing depth. Do you know if Cream has been working out for teams at the NBA Combine? Is there anything you can share with us on that front?
Oh, Cream, stay ready, son. Never got to get ready, man. Biggums, he was at the NBA Combine yesterday. Yeah, so vertical jump. They got this pro agility drill, sprint, all that stuff. He did all of it, man. He's ready, man. Let's go. Put him on the wing. Throw the alley-oop, man. He'll go up there and go get it. He'll go get it. He'll bring it back down, reset. But throw it up there, man. He'll go get it.
Got that jab step.
Jab, step back, anything you want, man. It's the best thing since pants for pockets.
All right, Spice. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. We know you're busy. We'll see you next Wednesday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for your time today.
Salute, bro.
Yeah, no problem, man. Can't wait.
All right. Interesting time here with Spice Adams. And yes, as Jay said, if you're interested in that event, again, it's going to be at the Hammer Theater in San Jose next Wednesday at 7. Tickets and all event details available now at DwightClarkAward.com. And my information said there were 100 tickets available. Jay, it's now only
down to 40. Yeah, just got the text. So, you know, go ahead and buy 10 more, Whitey.
All right.
Bring out the friends, the Gleason family.
Well, if Cream's going to be there, I'm going to have to talk to Cream. See if we can work out something, you know, individual tryout here in Sacramento.
That boy, you working on behalf of the Kings organization.
I'm doing that. I'm definitely going to do that. Yeah. When we come back, all quiet on the Kings front, maybe a little too quiet. Next on Sacktown Sports.
Stay up to date on Sacramento sports. Join the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit SacktownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by San Francisco 49ers.
I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Very warm again Friday, and we're going to start mild with temperatures in the mid-50s. Strong sunshine will have us in the 70s by late morning. Highs will be near 90 in the afternoon. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA app.
San Francisco 49ers 2025 single game tickets are now on sale. Join the faithful at Levi Stadium. Secure your seats today at 49ers.com/tickets. That's 49ers.com/tickets.
Hagen Oaks wants to be your go-to total golf game fitter. Try the TrackMan experience, the very best technology to fit your metalwoods and irons. The new cutting-edge putter fitting studio with its $30,000 worth of technology is ready for your fitting. Hagen Oaks will help you find the best putter for your game. Hagen Oaks offers more technology, more choices, and more service. Schedule your fitting at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio by calling 916-808-2531, 808-2531 for more.
Whitey here for Napoleon Grills, reminding you that when buying a new grill, every detail matters. While supplies last, you'll receive a $149 gift with purchase on every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill. The kit even includes a pizza lover starter kit and much more. And now up to $79 off Napoleon Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts amazing quality. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is this weekend with Bailey Zimmerman. Cole Wetzel. Plus Billy Currington, Nate Smith, Ernest, and more. Friday and Saturday, May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo. Don't miss pop-up stores, food trucks, line dancing, and more. Country in the Park, celebrating 25 years, May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo.
Sponsored by the California Army National Guard. Get tickets and more info at CITPFest.com.
Hey, I'm Alan Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222 and visit them at calldowntown.com.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Yeah, we have had a lot of fun conversations today. Thanks to Spice for joining us at Dwight Clark Legacy Series next Wednesday in San Jose. Jay, you were also throwing around the idea of African-American shortstops when you were growing up. You just said there weren't a lot. You remember, which I think you said Barry Larkin. You said
Barry.
Ozzie was a little before your time.
Yeah.
But Ozzie, Dunston, you said Pokey Reese.
Pokey
right?
Reese, yeah. Royce Clayton.
Here's one from Gary F. going way back. I know this is true,
Warren
but I don't
Wills.
remember it. Ernie Banks used to play shortstop.
He did. Ernie B. He sure did. And Ernie, I mean, just an absolute animal. An animal on the field. Did it all. I mean, most people remember him as a third baseman, but he did play
First
short.
base.
Excuse me,
First
first
base.
base.
Yeah.
For a while, but man, he could hit the heck out of the
I think
snot
he was
out
an
of the ball.
MVP 2 years in a row. And again, I think that was in the 50s, so even before my time. But still, yes, thanks for the contribution.
The other one too, Larry Doby. Somebody has been not sure if you remember that. Larry Doby
He was
is
an outfielder, I thought.
No, he played a little short.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm learning stuff then.
So he is one of those guys that was way before my time, but definitely somebody that I read about, for a long time.
He was like the Jackie Robinson of the American League.
Yes.
The first African-American to play in the American League, if I'm not mistaken.
Man, shouts out to him and Monty Irvin and guys like that. Oh, man, just love baseball, brother.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that it's falling behind. It's like boxing, like horse racing. It's not there no more. It's not as popular anymore.
That was the big three of way back. In
boxing and horse racing.
Yeah. Baseball, boxing, and horse racing.
Yeah.
Now it's all football. Everything football.
Everything football.
NBA making a few inroads, especially here with the playoffs coming up. What do you think of this, Jay? Wings is the things for the Kings, right? Kings need wings. They could certainly use wings, and I know they need a point guard. They could use some help on the perimeter. Jonathan Kuminga could be available now. Jonathan Kuminga looks like he's going to be a restricted free agent, although according to Anthony Slater and others in The Athletic, the Warriors are talking about maybe a sign-and trade with Kuminga that would allow him to get more money, and it would allow the Warriors to get something for him. Ownership loves him, but it hasn't been a good fit there. And I know we've been talking about him a lot. He played so well. He was one of the few Warriors that played well over the last few games of that series lost to Minnesota. Jonathan Kuminga do anything for you? I'm not sure, but I want to think about it more.
I think about it, but it really depends on what you're going to have to give up. And it sounds like from everything we keep on hearing, as you talked about, sign and trade, which means Kuminga's probably going to ask for 15 to 30. And I know that's a wide range. That's a little more than what I want to pay. For me, I'd love to see Kuminga on a prove it deal.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 1 with an option, 2 with an option, and we'll pay you 10, 12, but I need to see it. I know you have it in there. I know it may come out, but until it comes out,
right?
I'm not sure what I'm getting. Yes.
Yeah, you're great when your team's shorthanded and desperate, and you're getting your behind kicked. You score a lot of points there, which is good. But does that mean that translates to normal game situations? Can you really help me
every day?
You elevate me,
right?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like everything that he has. I will say this. I think the Warriors, and there's something there, and I think you talked about this, there has to be something there for the reason of Steve Kerr not, putting Kuminga out in a lot of, and don't get me wrong, Kuminga's had a lot of chances. He had a lot of opportunities. I think if you talk to Warriors fans, they'll say, 50-50. I think he's had some chances. He's had some opportunities, but at the same time, he probably could have been rendered a few more. And that's probably true. My eye on Kuminga, I feel like he has had some opportunities, but I would love to see him be put in a role where you are legitimately a starter and we know you're going to play 30 plus minutes a game. Let me see what you do for a season or two, and then I'll kind of make my decision on that. If I'm getting him for the cheap, whatever the cheap may be, I'm in. If it's going to be, above 20 million, I'm probably out. 17, 18, like a Harrison Barnes type deal. Malik Monk, I might be in on maybe for a year, but I'm probably leaning out more on that side too.
Here's what it comes down to for me. If I'm the Kings and I'm looking at that, and you don't want to close the door on anything now. You want to keep your mind open on everything. But fairly or unfairly, Jonathan Kuminga has some baggage attached already. And the coach wasn't comfortable with him playing with Steph. Coach didn't like the way he looked off Steph. He wasn't happy with the coaches. He's talked about that. So there's already been, and he's only been in the league, what is this, his third year? There's some baggage there. And like I said, maybe it's not his fault. But if I'm trying to bring in players that I want to elevate, and I want them in turn to elevate my team, and I'm trying to establish a culture, I don't know if I can afford to bring in somebody who has some baggage attached. There's some risk there, and I don't know if he's good enough necessarily, if he's that good of a fit for me to assume that risk. That's why I would be out on Jonathan Kuminga. Where I am right now, you may be great. We may regret this, but all the other questions about, there's questions about his work ethic a little bit, didn't get along with the coach, and maybe none of that was your fault. But I can't assume that risk, Jay. Right now when I'm trying to build something, put together a culture, I can't assume that risk.
He's still kind of he's still in the testing phase.
I think so.
Yeah, I think you're right. And what you're saying, I'm with you. And I think that just kind of, you've pushed me a little more towards, I might be out on the Whitey. Again,
my wife's favorite player. I may not be able to go home tonight having said this.
Oh, man.
She loves Jonathan Kuminga.
Okay, stop talking about it. I'm going to edit it out. Make sure, just in case in the podcast, we'll pull all the forms that it ever happened. So unless you heard it right now, you didn't hear it. But yeah, he has, from the outside looking in, he has everything that you absolutely want. But for whatever reason, it hasn't just came to fruition.
Yeah.
It hasn't reared its head. And I'm not sure, as you said, I'm in the market right now, unless the Kings come out and say, we are taking a step back. We are going to rebuild this year, or you show that with your actions, which I haven't seen any of that just yet. But unless that happens, I think I'm putting Kuminga on the bench and hoping that I can see that through, a seventh, a sixth, seventh, eighth. For me, it'd be seventh because I think Malik is your sixth man, seventh, eighth type position coming off the bench. And so I'm just not sure I want to pay Kuminga what I believe he wants to do that.
That would be the only circumstances under which I would bring him in, as if things went in such a way as I ended up with a chance to get him for less than I thought he should be worth. Whoa, I would take that. That's unlikely, though. Other than that, it's like, all the best to you, but I can't assume that risk. I can't bring in somebody who might disturb what I'm trying desperately to stack together here.
Do you think it's, and I've heard this, and you read guys like Josh DeBow, who's coming up here on the show within about 45 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
You hear those things. You hear mental. He might not be a high IQ basketball player. Does that scare you a little bit?
See, I understand that.
And I hate that. I'm with you. Yeah,
because there's an implication that he's not smart. I have no reason to believe he's not smart. He just, the way he approaches basketball doesn't fit the way the Warriors do it. But I don't think it's anything about he's not smart enough to do it. It's just, he hasn't been a good fit there
for the Warriors.
And I'll tell you, I was there when they drafted him. And just from the things you heard about him playing in the G League for G League Ignite,
right?
It's like, to me, it was like, oh, he doesn't play the way the Warriors play. He's not a good fit.
But he's kind of,
and they oh, he's great. Yeah, but he's not a good fit for the way the Warriors play. It's similar to the mistake they made with Wiseman, although he had other troubles.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys play like this, he plays like that. That's not a good fit. And then they bring him in and it doesn't work. And then a lot of that, there's blowback on him. Like, oh, it's him. There's something wrong with him. It's like, no, he was never going to fit the way you play.
And so let me ask you one more question before we go to break. Do you feel that Kuminga has kind of got a raw deal in the form of, from the media down in the Bay and, people who cover that team? Do you feel, because you read that, you kind of get that sense when you look from afar, which is here in Sacramento, is not too far, but when you look afar, it feels like the people around there feel like Kuminga's not a high IQ guy. And the reason why is because we've heard, the Warrior system is something that you have to learn. And maybe you're correct. Maybe it just wasn't a good fit. And now he's kind of wearing that identity of, he's not a high IQ type of player.
I think the media has done a real good job of reporting the way the team saw him. And he had opportunities that he would then squander because he maybe took himself a little too seriously, and he's shown up late for a few things here or there. As a young player, like, especially on the Warriors, like, you can't do that. And he would do that. And then he got into it with the coach. And again, maybe he was justified in doing that. But that's everything you hear about him. The media is just reporting what was going on and why he didn't play. Because a lot of fans wondered, why isn't this guy playing? Maybe he should have, but that's why he didn't. The team saw him as a guy that just wouldn't do the things they wanted him to do.
Man, it's tough. He and the team, they need a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
He for him to, expand the wings, he's got to go somewhere else. Absolutely.
Yeah. Here's where we got to go when we come back. I don't know if you've heard this, Jay. There's somebody on the station saying something about the Kings that I think is demonstrably false. It is not true. We'll tackle that when we come back to Sacktown Sports.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
At SMUD, we power local business with incentives on clean energy equipment, tools to manage electricity usage and save money, tailored solutions from dedicated strategic account advisors, and 50% lower rates than neighboring utilities, all while doing more for the planet with clean energy solutions, savings, reliability, personalized service, clean energy, helping local businesses thrive. That's our clean power promise. Learn more at smud.org.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
San Francisco!
What a laser from Brock Purdy, and what a catch.
San Francisco 49ers single game tickets are available now.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Fred gets up and runs back the other way. One block and he's in. Gonna throw left for the end zone. It's caught by George Kittle.
Secure your seats at 49ers.com/tickets.
Touchdown!
The Memorial Day Race to Savings is on. Get the best deals of the season at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the Memorial Day Race to Savings, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Thanks for your participation today. Pardon me, I just spit. Did I get any on you, Bobby Jackson? My apologies. Quick check here of the text line, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140 from the 916. Now that you both think Kuminga is not a good fit, then we will definitely be getting him. Scott Perry's too smart for that.
I never say never, Whitey.
Yeah. If they get him, it'll be because they got a great deal.
That's right. Who was that from, the 209?
916.
Oh, 916.
Yeah.
City of Trees.
Somebody else from the 916. Let's not forget Bert Campy Campaneris.
Oh.
He's not African-American. He's Cuban.
Cuban now.
But he would, Beep, beep. They used to call him, I was going to say used to call him the Roadrunner, but I'm not even sure that's true. All I know is with Bat Day, Campy Campaneris was one of my favorite A's as a kid. Then on Bat Day, you get the bat, and I got the Campy Campaneris bat with the fake signature on it, and it said Dagoberto Campaneris. And I was like, what is that?
Who is this? Yeah.
What? I got the wrong bat. There's no such person. Bert Campy Campaneris. Then we got from another number in the 916, C.J. Abrams for Washington.
Yeah.
Really good. He balls out every day. Yeah,
young gun. Yeah, he's a young gun right now.
He went to the Nats in that whole Juan Soto trade. Very talented. And from the 209, pump to breaks. 49ers 7-10 to 9-8 at best, Jay.
Dang. 9-8?
Yeah.
That's basically 500 at this point.
Right. 9-8 with that schedule means you're really like a 5-win team.
You're struggling. 7-10 to 9-8.
Yeah, I don't think so. Rams fan much? 209?
Man, it must be a Raider.
Could be.
Probably a Raider.
Could be.
That's fine.
Or unless, you know what? That could also be Adam Schefter, based on what he said. You heard me tell him.
Let me check his number and compare.
Stay in your lane, Shefty, and don't bother us on the text line. We've been talking a lot about Las Vegas, too. I have a Vegas sports note, and I know I said we got to clean something up here. Something's been said on the station by one of the station's stalwarts about the Kings, and I just don't think it's true. So we will be getting to that. But Adam Silver, we didn't address this a couple days ago. He was on Sirius XM NBA. Adam Silver said that he and all team owners will meet in July to formally discuss the idea of future NBA expansion to 32 teams. And Silver mentioned there is tremendous interest. That's a quote. Tremendous interest, end quote, from Seattle and Las Vegas. So as Evan Siddery points out, the next steps towards expansion finally on the horizon. The NBA's worst kept secret is finally coming true.
Yeah, it was interesting when I saw that report. He threw in Vegas and Seattle. Well, that was common sense. As you said, the worst kept secret.
Yeah.
Seattle, hopefully they're blessed with another team. Vegas, it seems like they're being blessed with all kind of different teams.
Mm-hmm.
Is there another city? And I know we could mention one or two, but in reality, is there another city that even has a shot to get a team right now?
Probably not.
Yeah.
NBA?
Yeah.
I mean, there's teams down the list that they'd say, oh, eventually Montreal.
I've heard Vancouver coming back, but
yeah,
you know, so you talk to some Vancouver fan, you know, people who played in Vancouver. It's like, yeah, they were good fans, but they didn't really care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like Toronto. For whatever reason, Toronto has become a hub. You know, we saw it a few years, was that 2019 or whatever that was? When they won the championship? I can't remember.
2019. Yeah,
okay.
You're right.
But is there any other city that could even possibly jump?
You know, it's funny as
Seattle
we talk
or
about
Vegas?
Remember how close the Kings came to moving to Anaheim? And they're not, no one ever talks about Anaheim anymore.
No, because there's too many teams left in California, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why. I think the Maloofs, maybe that's why they failed moving down there, because the Lakers said,
not doing it.
We don't want another team in Southern
squad
California.
that way.
So maybe that just kind of closed that door for everybody.
I've always thought about this, and I don't, know if it works anymore. Does San Diego even want an NBA team?
They've had two already.
Right.
I don't think the Lakers are crazy about the idea. And I say that this is going way back, but when the ABA merged with the NBA, they had a team in San Diego, and the Lakers, different ownership and everything. Lakers said, no, we don't want another team down there. So it might be kind of similar to Anaheim. San Diego's beautiful, but you got the ocean to the west, you got Mexico to the south, you got Los Angeles to the north, and you got mountains and desert to the east. So in a way, even though it's a big city, it's kind of hemmed in there. I'd love to have it if they put a team there, but I don't think they will.
Yeah. And San Diego's a tricky market when it comes to sports. You know, it's what they did it's not what they did. It's actually what the Spanos who own the Chargers, what the Spanos did. Yeah, they definitely say, we'll move on up to LA. We'll take that money.
Mexico City's been talked about, but
that's too much of a flight. That's
my understanding is the infrastructure is like to get to the arenas,
right?
It's impossible.
Oh man, I've had this. I think it was, they played them when the heyday of the Kings. They went to Mexico City, correct?
I think it was like the Rondo era Kings.
Was it the Rondo?
Yeah, because I think that was when Rondo said what he said to Bill Kennedy. I think they were playing the Celtics in Mexico City.
Okay, hold on. We got to check. Someone, and I might have the person wrong, hence why I asked that. No, I had a conversation with someone on the Kings that played on the team that went to Mexico City. And it's escaping me who it is. And they were talking about just the as you said, the traffic.
Logistics
to get to the arena is just difficult. And on top of that, unfortunately, there is a safety issue. It'd be interesting. It'd be super interesting because now you're talking about a lot of people with a lot of money. down in Mexico City.
Mm-hmm.
And Mexico City is astonishingly one of the most safest cities in Mexico. But there's some things you would have to start to think about when it comes to that too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. From the 916, Pittsburgh or Nashville? I know Memphis has a team, but I believe there's an interest in Nashville for getting one. There are some cities that you'd think should have teams, but like Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, St. Louis, and I just don't think they're going to. Louisville may be ahead of any of those cities.
Yeah, I've never really heard Pittsburgh ever come out and say they want NBA.
It's never really talked.
I think Nashville, their name is in anything they can get. Just give me any, professional sports team and we'll take it. St. Louis, I've seen rumblings of St. Louis.
Don't you think it's kind of funny? Now, I have nothing against Memphis, but isn't it kind of funny that they have that team in Memphis and they didn't go to Nashville? They moved to Tennessee and they went to Memphis.
Yeah, I can see it. But Memphis is a basketball city, though, right? Because of the college, and it's been one of those things. It's tough for me to really think about other cities that could be in front of Seattle. Like Seattle is ready to go; they're turnkey, and Vegas is turnkey.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas is building another arena. What that'd be? What north now of the Strip?
Yeah,
they're ready to go. It's just tough to beat those two cities.
It is. It's impossible. It's senseless. And I'm glad the commissioner now, at least he's not, continuing with that little charade where, we have a lot of cities that we're very interested in. It's like, we know where you're going. At least now they're being a little more upfront about Seattle and Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Doesn't LeBron want to own
Vegas?
The team in Vegas?
Yeah, Vegas. Allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I'll do it.
And then if you get to 32, you add those two teams. I mean, you're getting to the point where you got all the teams you need for a while.
I think so. That might be the max. And that's why it's going to be difficult for any city for me to jump over Seattle and or Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Where you need the league to be associated with, Seattle makes all the sense. And Vegas makes all the sense because it's just Vegas. It's one of those markets where you just kind of want to play ball.
Mm-hmm.
And Vegas has opened their arms to everything to make it make sense. So when you really take a step back and you look at all the surroundings and you look at Pittsburgh, to me doesn't touch me as a NBA city.
No,
it doesn't spark.
Really small.
Yeah, Cincinnati, same thing. It's like that really don't touch me as a market that I would love to see. Let's go up to Cincinnati and play those guys.
If you had anybody in Cincinnati that really had a lot of money and really was determined to bring a team there, it'd probably take them like 12 years, but they might get it done, but it would take somebody with a ton of money and just determined to make it happen.
What's the, what's they're calling it the Silicon of the South? Is it Birmingham or is it, what's the city down there that's bubbling now? Like a lot of tech companies are going down to Alabama.
Oh, I don't know. Must be Huntsville.
Is it Huntsville or is it Birmingham? It's one of them.
Just kidding.
No, seriously. They're calling it the like Silicon of the South.
Huh.
And a lot of tech companies are going down there now.
All right. We'll have
look that up for you.
Yeah. And then when we come back, we'll talk about what Carmichael Dave said about the Kings being in the worst position of any team in the NBA. Is that true? Next on Sacktown Sports.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Bundle Deal Days at AutoZone.
Well, I do need a bundle of things.
When you bundle, you save.
Do I save if I bundle oil with an oil filter?
Save up to $12 on that bundle.
What about brake pads and rotors?
Bundle those and the brake pads are free.
Can't save more than free.
You can save on hundreds of deals during Bundle Deal Days. Ends June 2nd at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Duralast brake pads only.
When you think of hot, you might think about the tragic time you ate too much wasabi.
Oh, no.
Or about getting into your car on a summer day when it feels more like stepping into a sauna. But heat can work in your favor, like during Verizon Red Hot Deal Days. Get hundreds of hot deals on all your favorites, like iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence, Apple Watch Series 10, and iPad on any plan. Only until May 28th for new and existing customers. Offer available on My Plan. Only at Verizon.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places that I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Play and win to take your loyalty to new heights at Sky River Casino. Join Sky River Rewards today for a chance to receive up to $2,500 in free play. Plus, you'll be in the know about upcoming special events and offers. Just minutes from Sacramento, right off Highway 99 in Elk Grove. Join in the fun with rewards that add up and up. Sky's the limit at Sky River Casino. Visit us to see how. Must be 21 or over. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Nighttime is fun time at the Hagen Oaks Top Tracer driving range. It's more relaxed at night with people enjoying technology, where you can play Pebble Beach at Hagen Oaks, compete against your friends in a variety of games, or just practice at your leisure. There's food when you're hungry from Hangout Eats and Drinks opening late May, or enjoy a beverage on the brand new patio with relaxed seating. And check out the summer-long free concert schedule. It's the Hagen Oaks driving range, nightly until 2 a.m. Fulton Avenue at Business 80.
The Sacramento River Cats are turning up the fun for the second half of 2025. Fan favorites like Star Wars Night, Harry Potter Night, and 916 Night are back. Plus all new hits like Christmas in July, Camp River Cats Night, and Nickelodeon Night. And don't miss your cats repping the Dorados de Sacramento in a full slate of themed games. Grab your tickets and join the party at Sutter Health Park. Sacramento River Cats baseball tickets are available now at rivercats.com.
Your local sports leader in the 916.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140.
Cannon.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Allow us to leap to conclusions. Jeremiah Fears, who's a top prospect in this upcoming draft, expected to go top 10, 18-year-old guard from Oklahoma. He has met with a few teams. He listed New Orleans, Philadelphia, Dallas, San Antonio as among teams he's met with so far, according to Will Guillory. He also says he met with Sacramento. Why would he meet with Sacramento? Sacramento doesn't pick in the first round. Maybe he met with the Kings before the Kings knew where they were going to be picking. That's possible. Or maybe the Kings have talked to him because they are looking at moves that might move them back into the first round towards the top of the first round. We don't know, but it's something to keep an eye on, Jay. It's something that I'm allowing myself to get excited about. Because, I think it's Karen here in the Chateau undergoing some Kings withdrawals. No games here. Nothing's going on. Let's go. We need to get something going here. Something to get excited about.
Yeah, well, we need some excitement right now. We definitely need it. And
Yes.
Again, normally around here, we're looking forward to the draft.
Right.
And I guess that's a bad thing, more or less, but it's kind of been the norm here. So it's something that we're used to. And now that we're not, even though we made the play in, and that's not the biggest thing to celebrate, but not playoffs. And now we would be looking forward to a draft pick. We don't have it.
Yeah. No playoffs for you. Well, at least we have the draft. Not this
Abby,
year.
no.
You got second round. So maybe the Kings are moving back into the first round or looking at it. I don't know. They're probably looking at everything. I
think
Let's
they
hope
are.
so. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they are.
They should be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got a team I don't want to say. But if you read today, Howard Beck in The Ringer said something seems like Philly may be looking to move back or move out of the first round in exchange for future picks. Kings could help them with something like that. But that brings me back around to something we need to address. And I believe Carmichael Dave said this. I didn't hear it in all fairness. I heard Alan talking about it a number of times, and I do listen to the morning show. I haven't heard it much this week. And I'm not coming after Carmichael Dave personally, but I do disagree with this notion that the Kings right now, all things considered in terms of assets and where they are and where they need to get to, the Kings are in the worst position in the NBA.
No.
Apparently Dave said that, and I don't think that's true, Jay. And I'm not saying I'm not being the Culligan man for the team carrying the water for him, because I don't work for the team anyway, but I just don't think that's true. I'm not saying, they're in great shape. I don't think they're in bad shape. I don't think they're in great shape necessarily, but worst situation in the league, it's like, I don't see that at all.
Nah, they're not the worst position in the league. And I would have to get an understanding. Maybe I'll text Dave why he's saying that. And is it got to be?
Yeah,
because I'm really not seeing that. And maybe it was he tongue in cheek about the situation, or was Dave being, serious about it?
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting situation. We might have to get Dave on for that.
Yeah,
because I'm not really understanding why they're in the worst position. And it could be Dave just saying, "Hey, listen, they're in a bad, predicament, and I don't know where they're going to be able to get out of this."
Mm-hmm.
Like it seems bleak. But the worst position in the league? Nah, they have some talent. They have a few things that's working for them. And to be completely honest, this is the one thing about it. When you have assets, no matter what they are, they might not be the ones that you want to give up. You can definitely make some moves. If they dangle Keegan Murray, if they dangle Malik Monk, if they dangle some of the other guys, they're going to be able to make some moves. No doubt about it.
To be in the worst situation in the league, in a vacuum, you'd have to have like no assets.
Yeah,
you're
zero.
stuck. You're a bad team, and you have no way to improve.
No picks.
The Kings have. I know we talked about this. Bobby Marks has them ranked 8th in terms of draft assets in the whole league because they have 9 incoming future first-round picks, and I know this year, right now, they don't have one. That's discouraging. But they have all 7 of their own going forward, and they have the San Antonio unprotected in 27. Minnesota's unprotected in 31. So, again, I'm not saying they're in great shape. They're not OKC. They're not Utah. But 9 picks is significant.
Absolutely.
It's like, that's pretty good. And then you also have a lot of pieces that you could move. Like you said, Keegan's of great value. If you wanted to move Sabonis, I mean, there's value there. We don't know how much. Maybe not as much as you gave up to get him. Same with DeMar, Zach LaVine. So I'm not saying they're going to trade any of these guys, but to say, oh, worst situation, I just don't see that.
No, I don't. Did you text him? Because if not, I'm going to text him about it.
Let's both text him.
Yeah, let's get on his helmet. I'm with you, like a sticker, a logo. I think the Kings are in a predicament where the assets that they have, they don't necessarily want to move on most of them. I think they don't mind moving off a few, 1 or 2. For me, that'd be DeMar DeRozan. I think, meaning I'm not sold on moving on DeMar DeRozan, but I believe the Kings may be sold on it. And on top of that, I also, out of respect, I think DeMar may want to move on too. And so that means we're, match made in heaven, probably he's going to move on. The other part of that too becomes this. When you look at the draft capital, and you compare that with the assets, meaning the players, they're by far not the worst. You look around and like cash-strapped teams, and that I think that's where, I can't go out and get a draft. I mean, I can't go out and get a big money free agent. But really, the Nets are the only team that can go out and get a big free agent this year. Everybody that I've seen, they're the only team that can offer a 20+ max contract to a free agent, unrestricted or restricted, doesn't matter. On top of that, look at the Bucks.
The Bucks are. I'm glad you mentioned them.
Like, look at some of these teams who have no draft capital. Don't even look at the Lakers. They don't have no draft capital. Now, no doubt about it. Miami, too, yeah. They have LeBron and Luka and stuff like that, so I get it. But I think maybe Dave was talking about in the form of money-wise. They don't have a lot of money to spend, and the fact that they don't have a pick right now conducive to where they finished last year.
Okay, Dave says, sure, except I never said they were in the worst shape.
Okay, see?
He said I did ask if they were in the worst shape.
Oh, see, I knew it.
Okay.
CD's sharper than that. He's a ball
he said
point.
He'd come on. Do we still want him to come on? Maybe at 4:30?
Yeah, that's fine.
Because we got.
I know he's sharper than he's got to be sharper than the Ginsu. I knew Dave wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I knew my boy wasn't falling for that trap.
Now I got to go after Alan because I think Alan said that Dave said that. But
see what I'm saying? Alan creating. Now we got to text Alan. Stop creating narratives, Alan.
Alan may be listening. Come on, Alan. Talking to you. We'll see if we get Dave on.
I want diversity of thought, but with unity of purpose.
Come on, Alan.
Yeah. He said, I did ask if they were in the worst shape in the West. Okay. Well, Dave wants to know if he could come on sooner. Could we move Josh Dubois?
No, we can't.
Okay.
And we're not moving Josh for Dave.
Okay.
Don't work that way.
Yeah.
Dave ain't got nothing to do beside being a dad. Now, if it has to do with him, beautiful daughter, his son, or being a husband, absolutely. If it has to do with anything else, tell him hell no.
Mm-hmm. And he said all good. So we'll see if we can
do it. Because I'm going to ask him, why do you need me to bump people for you?
Now we got to get Alan on too, because I listen to Alan every day. Is Alan spreading disinformation about the rest of the staff?
We're going to call him NBA Sentinel or something like that.
Okay, well, let's take Dave's theory there at face value. Are the Kings in the worst shape in the West? I don't think so.
No, they're not. They're not.
Yeah, but you have to consider all the assets. It's not in great shape right now. Maybe they're probably in better shape than the Kings right now because they have, some Hall of Fame players. The Warriors' future is starting to get a little murky.
It is.
Steph's
for sure.
like 38.
7, right?
Well, next year, I think he'll be 38 next season. Yeah. And then, Jimmy didn't play well because he was hurt. And they're looking at retooling around the margins this offseason. I get it. You have a guy like Steph Curry. You hang on to him as long as you can. I understand that.
Sure.
But, what just happened to them just brings to mind what's inevitable. At some point, he's not going to be there anymore.
Right.
Are they prepared for that day? It's like, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, I think they're still on one side of the bridge, but Jimmy Butler, and they're trying to add, some middle tier type pieces. I think we can all agree the Phoenix Suns are in trouble.
Yep.
They need to do something.
And what conference are they in, Jay?
I think that'd be the Western
West. Yes.
Conference.
All right. So I think we're going to have Dave bottom of the hour.
Okay. That's fine.
Well, let's see. We got senior awards tonight, making it a little easier. I can do. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. So yes or no?
That's fine. Just tell them no. If you're busy, we're busy.
That's right. That's right. Josh Dubow from the AP 49er writer. He's not too busy for us next. Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is this weekend with Bailey Zimmerman.
Leave me all the way.
Plus Billy Currington, Nate Smith, Ernest, and more. Friday and Saturday, May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo. Don't miss pop-up stores, food trucks, line dancing, and more. Country in the Park, celebrating 25 years, May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo.
Sponsored by the California Army National Guard. Get tickets and more info at CITPFest.com.
Memorial Day savings explode at Maida's Elk Grove Chevy. Save $12,500 off MSRP after rebates. Every new 2025 Silverado Turbo Max in stock. And Maida Chevy has similar savings on every new Silverado. One of the largest selections of new Silverado in the Sacramento area. $12,500 off new Silverado. Exclusively at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Plus 2021 not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers.
Hey everyone, it's Kyle Draper here. If you're in the market for a new car, let me tell you about my experience with Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the moment I walked into their state-of-the-art showroom, I knew I was making the right choice. There was no pressure from the sales staff, and if I'm being honest, I felt like a kid in a candy store. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV, and let me tell you why. First of all, the comfort. After a long day at work, I actually look forward to being in my car. It has several different massage settings, including my favorite, hot relaxing back. Plus, the seat heating and cooling features are perfect for the hot summer or those chilly mornings. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. They're just a short drive down I-5, or you can shop online anytime at mbofstockton.com. That's mbofstockton.com, and tell them Drape sent you.
The Drive Guys, live and local. Every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Yeah, coming up bottom of the hour, we'll give Carmichael Dave a chance to clarify his comments, which may have been misconstrued by a fellow staff member. Maybe I'm the misconstruer. We'll sort all that out as best we can bottom of the hour. Right now, nice enough to join us, He covers the 49ers for the Associated Press, covers all the Bay Area sports, so we can ask him about Jonathan Kuminga, among other things. Josh Dubow, how are you today, Josh?
Doing well. How are you guys?
We're good. Thank you very much for your time. I wanted to ask you about the 49ers, but first, as you know, big basketball town here, and the Kings need wings. They're looking at all possibilities. What do you think, Jonathan Kuminga? Is he going to be available? Is he going to be prohibitively expensive? What do you think of Jonathan Kuminga's availability this summer?
Yeah, not so sure. I don't feel the Warriors, but it didn't sound like from what went on today at the season-ending stuff that, it seems like a strong possibility he's returning. In terms of what they can get, I'm not sure, what the situation will be with him. And okay, Warriors not definitely my level of expertise as much as other stuff. So I don't want to.
Right.
Any wrong information on that at all.
Yeah. Hey, Josh, we're having a little bit of an issue that's there. You're not a speaker, are you?
Let me try this. Hold on.
Yeah.
My computer.
Yeah. It's just
Is it better?
What do you think, Jay? I think it's better. Yeah. Thank you, Josh. Yeah. Sorry about
no
that.
Problem.
Yeah. Sounds much better. Yeah. So you tell us about Kuminga and what they said about him today at the exit interview program.
Yeah, just from what I saw, I wasn't out there, but from what I saw, it didn't seem like they were real strong. Like from what Steph and Draymond said, that they were real strong on. Okay, we need to bring this guy back. So I think it might be a situation where look for a change there.
Okay.
Josh, you as Whitey talked about, you cover it all. When it comes with the Warriors, and we were just having this conversation, it seems like the Warriors are all in on, trying to make the last bit of hope with Steph Curry. Are you getting that sense like they're just going to go all in no matter what the last 2 or 3 years or however long Steph Curry is going to be playing?
Well, yeah, I think trading for Jimmy Butler and signing Jimmy Butler, definitely they have a window here where I think they're going to try to compete. I think they thought they could compete if Steph had been healthy this year. So I think, they're probably on that same track.
All right, Josh, how about the San Francisco 49ers? How friendly is this new schedule for the 49ers?
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty favorable schedule. Playing both South divisions is, probably the easiest two outside divisions you can play. Having a last place schedule where you get the Browns instead of the other teams in the AFC North, the Giants, the other teams in the NFC East, and the Bears. It's definitely favorable. I think where the schedule plays out, definitely a little harder in the beginning of the year, which might not be ideal for the Niners. With they're going to be breaking in, maybe up to 5 rookie starters on defense. Brandon Ayuk might not be healthy to start the year. Malik Mustafa might not be healthy to start the year. So, the fact that their schedule is a little tougher earlier in the year than it is late in the year, definitely to close the schedule seems very favorable. I think the last 5 weeks they get on a plane once. They got 3 home games, a bye, and 1 trip to Indianapolis. The last end of the season, Carolina, Cleveland, some easier games. But that's before that stretch. So they definitely have a favorable schedule at the end of the year. So if they can get themselves in position, they might be able to put together a little run and get into the postseason.
So 16-1, you're saying?
Well, they might be resting the starters week 18. You never know. So
that's a good point.
So,
very good point.
Yeah, you always got to count for that. So,
Josh, I had said this a little earlier during the show, joined by Josh Dubow of the AP. He does it all here, of course, in Northern California, the Bay Area. You had, and I think I got this from you. I hadn't seen this. The 49ers play 0 teams coming off a bye this year. That super surprised me compared to last year, which it felt like every team was coming off the bye in a couple of years ago. Does that play a big role in your mind for this team moving forward?
Yeah, I don't know how big a role it plays. I think how big a deal it was probably overstated when they were playing 4 teams last year coming off the bye. I think the advantage is pretty marginal if you're coming off the bye. If you look at the numbers the last 10, 15 years, is it helpful? Sure. Is it a major impact? Probably not.
Josh, do you think I know you're not a doctor, at least as far as I know. Do you think it's safe to assume Christian McCaffrey is healthy? Do you think the 49ers are assuming that?
I think assuming he's healthy today. Obviously, if he's going to be healthy for 18 weeks of the regular season in the playoffs remains to be seen. But I do think they feel pretty good with where he's at right now. He seems to be fully recovered from the calf, Achilles, the Achilles tendonitis from the knee issue that sidelined him at the end of the year. But he's a running back. He's taking a lot of hits. There are not a lot of guys who, can excel year after year at that position. It's a pretty demanding position. So whether he can make it through a full season remains to be seen. But I think they're happy with where he's at right now.
As much as I don't want to ask you, Josh, you've covered the Raiders for a long time, and I know they're jumped out the market a little bit, but you keep your eye on that. For all the Raider fans here still in Northern California, I asked the obligatory question. What's your thoughts on the Raiders schedule in this season?
Schedule's tough because they're in a division with 3 teams that made the playoffs last year and who all seem to be in pretty good shape. So you're starting off with 6 difficult division games. They play the NFC. The schedule is definitely not the easiest schedule, but I do think the Raiders are, if you look at most improved teams, they're definitely up there. Obviously, they're starting from a pretty low level as a 4-win team, but I think Geno Smith's a pretty big upgrade over what they had at quarterback last year. Pete Carroll's a definite upgrade over Antonio Pierce. Whatever you think about drafting running back 6 overall, Ashton Jeanty should make it a pretty good impact as a rookie, you would think. So this team should definitely be more interesting and more exciting and more competitive this year, whether they're, a playoff team. I think that might be a little much to ask, especially in that division, but they should be a lot better than they were.
Josh, if for the 49ers, if this season goes anything like last season, and it doesn't look like it will, but if it did, do you think then things could start to get a little warm seat-wise for Shanna Lynch?
I'd say another 6-11 season, sure. I don't envision 6-11 happening again. I do think that Jed York believes in both John and Kyle. So I don't anticipate any changes. But obviously, if you don't produce, anything can happen, I guess. But I would not. Gotcha. I would not be characterizing them on the hot seat right now.
Right. Gotcha.
Josh, one of the things, I don't think I've ever asked you this question. You cover all sports in the Bay Area. Do you have and I'm pretty sure you're going to give me the journalistic answer, but do you have a favorite team that you cover or favorite sport that you cover?
I feel like the NFL the best in terms of the events, hockey playoffs. When the Sharks were good going to the playoffs. Loved covering the hockey playoffs. It's been a while. But like that run in 2016 when they went to the Cup, the run in 2019 when they went to the conference final, those are pretty memorable. There's nothing like being in the arena for those games. But in terms of day-to-day, NFL is definitely my favorite.
This is not, I'm not setting you up with this question because Jay and I have talked very frankly about, the A's situation and how we love the players, but it's an awful situation and they shouldn't be playing in a minor league park. But my question is, have you witnessed an A's game here? Do you think you'll be seeing any A's games here in Sacramento?
I was up there for the Yankee series. I was up there for all 3.
What'd you think?
It was my first time at the ballpark. It's a nice ballpark. The minor league ballpark. It's obviously not.
Right.
Yeah. I'm curious how it's going to play, especially in the summer. It was definitely playing very hitter friendly this past weekend. Seemed like A's pitchers, especially Luis Severino, were getting a little frustrated by that. I think it's going to, So I'm curious how it's going to play. It seems like, the wind was definitely a factor, and it seems like the ball carries really well there. So I'm curious, just in terms of that aspect of it. John Fisher did get his wish. Aaron Judge hit a couple homers. I'm sure he was very pleased. It seems like the people at the stadium, they're trying to make the best of a not great situation. Seems can't believe we're going to be doing this for 3 years at least. But
we'll see about that. Yeah. We'll see about
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Joined by Josh Dubois of the AP. Josh, last one for me. When it comes to the A's and me and as Whitey talked about, we've had this conversation. Let's just forecast a little bit. If they do make the playoffs, and we know the league has said that they're not going to play here in Sacramento, is there any form or fashion which you have in your ear to the streets down there? Could they double back and play in Oakland at all?
I don't think so. I don't think it's set up probably to be major league ready. I think it has to be a major league park. Park hosting major league games during the year in terms of having, the setup with the instant replay, all of that, I'm not sure that's even still in place at the Coliseum. So yeah, I think if they were hosting playoff games, if it gets to that point, I think it would be. I guess it would depend a little bit on who else is in the playoffs and what stadiums out west are available. But yeah, I would have to think it would be somewhere else. Anaheim, San Diego, San Francisco, more than Oakland.
Gotcha. Josh Dubow, outstanding writer for the Associated Press, covering the 49ers and all Bay Area sports. Thanks, Josh. We appreciate it very much.
No problem.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon. All right.
Okay, better. Bye.
Take it easy. Yeah. Anaheim, San Diego. I hadn't thought of that, Jay.
I hadn't thought about it either. Yeah, it's like San Diego, I'm thinking is going to be in the playoffs. Dodgers, I'm thinking going to be in the playoffs. Anaheim would be interesting.
Probably going to be available.
That'll be a neutral field.
Oh, man. That would be the most Fisher's A's thing, wouldn't it?
That'd be terrible.
Yeah. It would be, even if they went to San Francisco, you'd have the whole weird, it's not Oakland, obviously, but back to the Bay thing.
Right.
You'd probably still have demonstrations. Oh, my gosh.
Anaheim? I don't know if I want to see that. That I hadn't even thought about them going to SoCal.
Mm-hmm.
Never crossed my mind. I figured it would be San Francisco, or they would try to bust a move and, get to a Colorado or something of that, Arizona. But it's a good point. Depends on who makes the playoffs. But I hadn't thought about SoCal. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know the A's going into last night, they had the best road record in baseball. And I don't know if that changed with them losing last night. Home record hasn't been great. I think it's got to have something to do with them trying to make the best of a less than ideal situation, which just makes the whole thing worse.
Dang, why?
Yeah. Who knows? It's awfully early. They've been playing overall. They've been playing well. But, I think that one of the Dodgers announcers said that, like, it's probably a relief for this team to get out on the road.
Get away from the crib, huh?
Yeah. Carmichael Davis going to join us. What exactly did he say about the Kings situation? We'll find out next on Sacktown Sports.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This is Jill Schlesinger. May is Military Appreciation Month, and I know how much I appreciate the military. I married into a military family. I hear from so many members of the military, and Navy Federal Credit Union wants us to celebrate those who go above and beyond for us every day. If you're active duty, a veteran, or part of a military family, you're eligible to join. At Navy Federal Credit Union, the members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org/celebrate. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Zach Geloff suffered a setback as he was pulled from his rehab assignment with AAA Las Vegas due to a stress reaction in his ribs that occurred while taking a swing. There's no timetable for his return. Ken Waldichuk, out with that left elbow sprain, threw all 30 of his pitches in a side session last week and will throw another session this week and is targeting a return during the All-Star break. This injury report was brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Hey, I'm Alan Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222 and visit them at calldowntown.com.
San Francisco! What a laser from Brock Purdy, and what a catch.
San Francisco 49ers single game tickets are available now.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Fred gets up and runs back the other way. One block and he's in. Gonna throw left for the end zone. It's caught by George Kittle.
Secure your seats at 49ers.com/tickets.
Touchdown!
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Need for me, baby.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
And who starts bringing you that coverage every day at 6 a.m.? 6 a.m. He gets up so early for you. Why? Because he loves you. And because, it's his job and he gets paid handsomely. Carmichael Dave, nice enough to join us here. Dave, I know you have some family things going on. Senior Awards night. Thanks for your time. How are you?
Good. How are you? Yeah, that's later. We're just, all this, I graduated high school. Big deal. So, we got to do that.
I know. It's like yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. And I know you got big things going on with your daughter going on to big time colleges and all that. So congratulations on that front.
No doubt.
Thank you.
Congrats,
thank you.
man.
Yes. Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Well,
all our mother.
Yeah. Thanks for your time. And I have a little bit of egg. I think it's egg. I could be anything in this studio on my face here. But I had heard someone on the station say that Dave says the Kings are in the worst spot in the NBA, all things considered. Now, you say you didn't really say that, and I checked back with a person. They said, well, he essentially said that. Or so I don't know. But as long as we're talking about
better
it.
sources, Whitey.
Well done. No, the question I think might have been this morning on the show was, let's talk, are the Kings in the worst shape top to bottom in the Western Conference, which I'm not convinced they are, but I do think there are arguments. Now, I heard you mention Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I would push, look, I'm not going to die on the hill, but here's how I would push back.
Wait. You're pushing back on the idea that Phoenix is in a worse spot?
Well,
Okay.
I'll tell you
All
why.
right. Okay. All right.
If you or I were going in there as the GM, I would say this. I think they have 3 massive contracts. I think Bradley Beal's contract is worse than Zach LaVine's, but I think they're both two of the top 5 most immovable contracts in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would get more for Devin Booker and Kevin Durant than I think we would get for, what would you say, Domantas Sabonis and Keegan Murray, probably our 2 biggest trade pieces, maybe DeMar, but I don't think so. So I think if I go into Phoenix's situation as a GM, I have the ability to not only clear space, but also we have a better draft asset class than they do. But I think you and I both know if they were to move on from Booker and Durant, not only are they going to lower that salary, but they're going to also replenish their draft picks as well as some young players. I just think they have more trade value on their roster than we do, arguably.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's indisputable, but they only have 4 future first coming in, and the Kings have 7. So
right now. But yeah, that's my argument as to why I think we probably now look. You also have Matt Ishbia. Yeah. And Matt Ishbia is suffering from what we know is new owner syndrome. Mm-hmm. And so he's going to fall on his face for a while. So that's the argument. But let's move on to Utah. Well, Utah's got the number 5 pick in the draft, and they've got 8 first-round picks that they've got in stock in addition to their own from both the Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert trades. So you could make an argument there, plus their salary is a lot lower than ours. So I would ask you, I would turn it around on you. Give me a team that's in a worse spot in the Western Conference in the future than the Kings.
I can't say Phoenix. By the way, to your point about Utah, and I'm really just bolstering your argument. According to Bobby Marks, Utah has 10 incoming future first rounders.
They also have Danny Ainge, who has built a champion from scratch. I think we take him. You have to factor in everything in the franchise from ownership on down. So I think you could make an argument Utah has a better future, or at least on paper, than we do. You can say Phoenix, Whitey, but are you disputing that they don't have the ability, if they wanted to this summer, to completely replenish their banks, whereas I don't think that we necessarily do.
I think the Kings are in a better spot, all things considered, and you make great points.
Yeah.
Pretty good points. I think the Kings are in a better situation than Phoenix, and I think overall they're in a better situation than Utah, Jay. Am I
Yeah, well,
sipping the purple Kool-Aid there?
Well, my feeling. I know Dave doesn't. He's normally sleep about this time, so
he's sleeping now. Listen to him.
I'm not, and I get what you're saying, CD. When it comes to Danny Ainge, he has definitely built a championship contender, which has won a championship in Boston. But the other part for me with Danny Ainge is he sits on picks forever, and he doesn't make a lot of moves. And I understand. I think it's one of those things, and I'm a firm believer in big supporter in this. You don't make a move until you have the guy. I think you need a guy to win a championship in this league. But for me, Danny just sits on his hands, and a lot of people never call him out on that. Like, how many years is he going to sit? This is the 3rd year coming up.
Well, let's look back at the Celtics and how he built them. He drafted Jason Tatum, and not only did he draft Jason Tatum, but he traded the rights to the number 1 pick and Markelle Fultz and picked up assets. He made that move to get Jason Tatum at the number 3 spot in the Fox draft.
Dave, do you remember who had that pick originally?
That was us.
Yeah, I know.
You bringing up old stuff, why?
Yeah, I know.
And I would also say this too. You make a great point, Jay, and I would say it's the opposite. I would rather be the Danny Ainge type than look at what Monty McNair and the team did with the Aaron Fox, which was our number 1 piece when it came to bolstering either a rebuild or a retool. He was our most valuable trade asset. And instead of holding out till this summer when the Spurs are sitting on the number 2 pick, Stephon Castle and everything else, we couldn't even get our 2031 pick swap back. Here's the thing, and I'll just say this because I think it's disingenuous, not of you guys, but I think it's disingenuous to have this conversation because we're leaving a very uncomfortable truth out of it. You have to factor in the roster. You have to factor in the draft picks. You have to factor in the GM and coach. We all agree on that, correct?
Yes.
We also have to factor in ownership. And I think it's disingenuous to have a conversation about the future of the Kings without looking at the fact that we have ownership that has the worst winning percentage of any active ownership in the NBA, that has brought in a rookie GM in Pete D'Alessandro, a rookie GM in Vlade Divac, brought in Monty McNair, and then unless you call Sam Amick a liar, there was interference there with both the Zach LaVine trade and other moves, and now has brought in Scott Perry. We'll see. He deserves a clean slate. But let's be very honest. The question you have to ask yourself, and I say this with all respect, would Scott Perry or Doug Christie have been hired in their respective positions in any of the other 29 teams in the NBA? That's the conversation that people don't want to have when it comes to the future of this team.
I still think, given all that, and if I give you all of that and say, okay, yeah, you're right, if I do that, I still think they're in a better position than Phoenix, because Phoenix owner is not a bargain either. I know he wants to win and he tries to win, but he doesn't know how to do it.
I think that's an incredibly well-made point. If I'm going to bring in ownership as a conversation, then you absolutely have every right to bring in Matt Ishbia. In my made-up world, Whitey, it's if you had Sam Presti had a choice between going into Sacramento's situation, or he had a choice between that and Phoenix, I believe Sam would pick Phoenix's situation if he had complete autonomy. You're welcome to disagree with that, and you might be right. But I just think there's more tools to work with when it comes to trade capital in Phoenix than there is here. But, we could argue that all day.
Yeah. Drawn by my boy CD, sharper than the big pen. CD, I find it interesting. And, I haven't had an opportunity to ask you this on or off the air. And I know, you've been a proponent of having these conversations when it comes to Vivek, and please be careful, as I know you have relationships.
Yeah, I'm going to go in the other room for
right.
a minute, guys. I'm just kidding.
My thing with Scott Perry being hired, and of course Vivek Ranadive being the owner or operating owner of the Sacramento Kings, is there in any form and fashion, in knowing and having the relationships that you do over at the G1C, is there any form or fashion that you see this ownership group taking a step back and allowing Scott Perry to be him, or, and I'm not sure, please forgive me, I don't know your relationship with Scott Perry or your sources that have come across to knowing Scott Perry, do you believe Scott is slick enough or candid enough to go to Vivek and say, because I think you got to handle it one of two ways. Vivek, no, we're not going to do that straight up front. Or you got to be able to sell sand to a beach, meaning, hey, Vivek, I hear what you're saying, but let me go ahead and come around through the back door and let me do me. Do you think Scott Perry is candid enough to do that? Or have you heard or think Vivek is, or this ownership group is going to take a step back to say, okay, I've learned my lesson. Go ahead, Scott.
It's a great question. And I would be incredibly irresponsible to speculate because I don't know Scott. He seems like a great guy with great contacts. And he obviously dealt with James Dolan in New York. And I don't know if Vivek's going to take a step back. I don't know if Scott would have those conversations. And what I don't want to do is hamstring Scott or Doug before they've even gotten on the job. What I am saying, and the same analogy I used, is this. Look, I don't know why, and we're the partner of the Kings. I'm aware of that. I'm not an idiot. I know that we have a business relationship with the Kings, and it's never personal. I've never once crossed that line. I believe Vivek Ranadive wants to win as much as anyone in the city. He comes in for every game. He's not on his phone. He sits courtside. He is incredibly passionate. I have never questioned his ability to want to win. But I also want to slam dunk a basketball. I just don't have that ability. New owners come in and they fall on their faces almost every single time. The problem is it's been 12 years, and I don't understand why we can't respectfully, as fans, understand that we entered into a private-public partnership back in 2012 to build the arena, and Vivek and the owners saved the team. The valuation of the team at the time was about $500 million, give or take. The valuation of the team right now, Vivek sold his shares today, would be somewhere around $5 billion for majority, $3 billion for minority. That's the valuation. That's just numbers. They deserve every single penny they've made on this team in a partnership with the fans. And the first things Vivek said when he got on the floor, I was right there on the damn ladder when he came out, when they saved the team, and we opened at Old Arco, or Sleep Train. He said, "This is your team." So I don't understand why we in the media have a problem with or are nervous about respectful and logical criticism, just like we would with a coach or a GM. I don't understand why it's verboten to say it's not working and any other person in any other position would have been fired. There is documented interference, GMs being overruled, bad decisions being made. And 3 years ago, gentlemen, this team was anywhere from 1 game ahead of the New York Knicks in the inaugural Beam Team year to 13 games ahead of Indiana. They were better than all the teams remaining, with the exception of the Celtics and the Nuggets, that are remaining in the playoffs. We're the 9th oldest team in the NBA. People don't want to hear this because it's depressing, and basketball is a distraction, as is radio, and we're going to lose listeners. But Jesus, at some point, somebody has to be honest and say, there's a fire right now, and real questions need to be asked. And as a fan of this team, as a steward of this city, as somebody who's born, raised, and is going to die here, I don't think there's anything wrong with respectfully saying to ownership, you either got to back off or I have absolutely no trust until you do. I have no trust in anything you're going to do because 12 years have gone by and we've had constant failure with breaks for positivity. Go ahead, Whitey.
I was just going to say, you used the word disingenuous earlier. To me, it's borderline irresponsible for you, and I've heard you do this, David, to suggest that, we should try to get them to sell the team. It's privately owned, and I think you give people a sense that maybe they can do more than they're going to be able to do. If something were to happen where ownership fell afoul of the league, there's going to be a sale. But for you, in my opinion, I've heard you basically say, this isn't going well, and we know it isn't going well, and you laid that out eloquently. They should, they should sell the team. Unless I'm misrepresenting what you've done, and I don't think I am, David, I don't think that's totally responsible.
I think it's fair, but let me ask you this. Have you heard me say Vivek should sell the team?
I haven't heard you say that directly, but I've had the feeling that you have very strongly implied that.
Look, it's fair, Whitey, and it's a good question, but I don't speak in riddles. If I thought Vivek should sell the team, I'd quit the job, and I'd try to create a fan base that would create a John Fisher-like establishment to make it to the point. I don't agree with you, by the way. I think Sacramento fans can do whatever they want. I don't want Vivek to sell the team.
Wait. You say what do you disagree with me on? We're not arguing here. No,
totally.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm not speaking in code. I don't want Vivek to sell. I think he's a great steward of this team off the court. I think he's an incredible businessman. I think he's done wonders in the community. And I think he can be and wants to be a phenomenal owner. I know it's so hard to find owners that actually care about wins and losses and not bottom line. He cares. I've never once implied that. What I have said is I think it's perfectly okay to say to ownership or anyone involved, guys, this has been going for 12 years. There's been interference. There's been overrulings. There are people that are involved in basketball operations that are not basketball professionals. Just like I wouldn't go in and buy a tech company, being a sports radio guy, if I won the lotto and say, guys, this is how you code. I wouldn't do it. It wouldn't be right. So why is it so wrong to speak to family? And that's what I count it as, is family. We're all a family here. We all want the same thing. We all want to win. Why is it not okay to hold the feet to the fire? And people say, well, why are you being so negative? Why are you being so doom and gloom? Look at the team. Look at the performance. Look at where we're at. How can you not be critical? Because to not be critical means that you are, in a sense, condoning it, or at least you're saying, you know what, no matter what happens, it's okay. We're not going to worry about it. It'll happen someday. I don't believe in false hope. I don't believe in optimism or pessimism. I believe in realism. And realistically, could you tell me the Sacramento Kings have any chance of winning a championship with this roster? Any chance?
Division championship, maybe.
No. In my opinion, it's binary, Whitey. You're either winning, you're either contending for a title, or you are on the way to forming a team contending for a title. Whether you're Boston or OKC, who are contending, or you're Detroit or Houston, who are building towards contending. I do not believe we are in either of those spots. I believe we are stuck in perpetual NBA purgatory, and I would ask somebody to displace that with fact and reason, and I don't think they can.
Yeah, but you're right. But I still don't think it's responsible to suggest or imply that this is terrible. Maybe they should sell the team. But I did.
But I literally just specifically said I don't want them to sell the team.
Gotcha.
So what are we talking about?
Yeah, I think you're
I mean, I'm asking you. We're not arguing. I'm just saying it's a very important topic. It's a very sensitive topic. I want to make sure I'm crystal clear on this. If I wanted a guy, if I thought the only way out of this was to sell the team, I'd say sell the team. I've done it before. I've gotten fired for it.
I remember that.
I'm not saying that.
I remember that.
I think I know you do. So I'm not gonna talk in riddles. I'm gonna say, look, I think it's okay to criticize, and I think
I do too, Dave.
I agree with that too.
Oh, and I'm not implying that you don't, and I'm not. And this isn't me shooting at other people. I'm saying I don't know why this is such a verboten topic. If you're going to talk about the roster and the GM and the coach, you got to talk about the ownership of the basketball operations.
I think, and I'm with you. I think the purgatory of being in the middle of the NBA is somewhere, something where you don't want to lie. And I believe the Kings have been that way for a long time. So with that being said, short and sweet, if it's, and again, my apologies, as you get up a little earlier than I like to get up myself, CD. So I don't normally catch the first half of what you guys are talking about.
Right.
But I'm more of a bottom half of the show type listener. So with that being said, forgive me if I haven't heard this. What is your move? What is Carmichael Dave's move? What if we're talking about assets, if we're talking about no draft pick, if we're talking about basketball operations, a guy like Scott Perry and BJ Armstrong, guys that have done it for a while, guys who are respected throughout the league and have relationships. If you don't feel we have the best assets, then where do we go? As we're talking about family, where would you like to see the Kings go? What's the first move Carmichael Dave makes?
I think the first move I would make would be to take all the assets we have, top to bottom, including draft picks, and rank them based on value to the rest of the league. Make the phone calls. Then I would start slowly but surely moving assets out. I would commit to a full and complete rebuild. I would follow Sam Presti's method in Oklahoma City, which is a smaller market, and I would begin gathering assets. Zach LaVine is a negative asset because of the contract. DeMar DeRozan is probably a neutral asset because of the age and the contract. Keegan Murray, Keon Ellis, obviously Domantas Sabonis, maybe Devin Carter and picks. And you're just slowly but surely starting to gather assets so that you can put yourself in a position. By the way, it's no guarantee if you rebuild, you're going to be OKC either. You could still be stuck. And I used this analogy earlier, guys. I'll ask you the same thing. If you and I agree that this team, even if you add a little bit here and there with whatever they have, cannot contend for a title, then you're at a fork in the road right now. And the right fork you go down, you're going to fall 1,000 feet to your death. The left fork, you're going to run through some fire. Maybe you get burned. Hey, maybe you die, but you at least have a fighting chance. I'm going to choose, just on pure logic, the fork in the road that gives us a fighting chance. And if we acknowledge and agree that this team cannot at any point contend for a title as currently constructed, and that reloading or retooling isn't going to work either, then what are we doing? We're going to be sitting here in 2 or 3 years from now, maybe a play-in, maybe we get to a 6th seed in a first-round exit. Are we good with that? Or do we want to contend for a title and give these fans what they deserve, which is Minnesota, who had the number 1 pick in Anthony Edwards not that long ago, Oklahoma City, which had a worse record than us 3 years ago, Indiana, which was 13 games worse than us when they made the Tyrese Halliburton trade. What are we doing here, guys? We're spinning our wheels.
I think if Vivek has in fact been, as you said, Sam reported, and Sam knows what he's doing, and Anthony Slater, if he has been involved more than he should be in the basketball operations, then he should not be. He should remove himself. Whether he's going to do that or not, I don't know. But to me, that's a key step. There's indications maybe he's going to do that. We don't know. I'm not trying to sell you a bill of goods, but I think that would be an important step forward. And then we have to see what Scott Perry is going to do. I do think there are other options besides the total teardown. I understand 100% why you're saying they should do that. A lot of smart people are saying that. I think that that's very risky because, as you said, it might not work. So I'm just going to wait and see what Scott Perry is going to do. It's obviously a summer of reckoning in a lot of ways we're not even talking about that as well as I do. So we're going to have a lot of answers here at the end of the summer before the next season starts. And I think there's a lot to be settled here. I think there are other options besides a teardown, but I totally respect and understand why you say that's the way to go.
Well, I would say I agree with everything you say. I'd also say I'm aware of the clock, and I know we're coming up on it. I would simply say I agree with you. I think Scott Perry and Doug Christie deserve all the grace we can give them because this isn't on them. I think Vivek deserves the grace, if for no other reason, because we need to hope that full autonomy is given to Scott Perry and on the way down. I know we have maybe 1 or 2 minutes left, Whitey, and I'm not trying to be picky here, but I would just simply say to you, that the only thing you said I would challenge you on is, what's the other option? You show me another option that isn't a rebuild that involves this team realistically contending for a championship, and I'd love to hear it. What is your other solution?
The other solution,
specifically,
would be move some of your assets, and it's absolutely crucial. You start to get younger. Maybe you can stay relatively competitive in the short term. I think the rebuild that you're talking about it doesn't have to be as drastic, and maybe it should be. But the problem with that is, if it's despite our reputation as a town that we always support the team no matter what, if this team were to fall off the cliff and start winning 17 games, that place would be empty. That would cause other problems. So I could see how, if the plan is, it's very difficult, Dave. I know that, to kind of rebuild on the fly. It's really tricky. They've been trying it. They haven't been very good at it. Given the assets you have, I think maybe doing that more slowly over the period of a couple of years might be more prudent. But of course, there's no guarantee that works either.
Well, there's one thing you and I both know, is that neither of us can sit here today in May of 2025 and say we're right. I completely respect that. I disagree a little bit, but there's a reason why I'm on the radio in the morning and not in a front office.
For now.
Allegedly.
Yeah. All right.
Well, not in a basketball front office.
I'm about to say allegedly. Hold on now.
We've taken up enough of your time. Thanks for jumping on with us. We do appreciate it.
Thanks, fellas. Take care.
All right. That's Carmichael Dave. Boy, kind of just gave him a little bit of rope there, and he ran with it.
Yeah, I like it. It's good. It's good conversation, and we have to break, but I have a couple things to respond on that.
All right, we
like
got that coming up. I'll tell you, a lot of people were very inspired by what Dave said. So we'll get to that. What Dave had to say, what you thought of it, next on Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Fidium Fiber.
I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Very warm again Friday, and we're going to start mild with temperatures in the mid-50s. Strong sunshine will have us in the 70s by late morning. Highs will be near 90 in the afternoon. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA app.
It's about time they
Fix that pothole.
Invented better windshield wipers.
made an internet that just works. Fidium Fiber Internet, starting at only $30 a month. It feels like Fidium. Offer available to residential customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See Fidium.com for details.
The Memorial Day Race to Savings is on. Get the best deals of the season at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the Memorial Day Race to Savings, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Yeah, your one-stop Honda shop. Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is this weekend with Bailey Zimmerman.
Leave me all the way.
Cole Wetzel. Plus Billy Currington, Nate Smith, Ernest, and more. Friday and Saturday, May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo. Don't miss pop-up stores, food trucks, line dancing, and more. Country in the Park, celebrating 25 years, May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo.
Sponsored by the California Army National Guard. Get tickets and more info at CITPFest.com.
Whitey here for Napoleon Grills, reminding you that when buying a new grill, every detail matters. While supplies last, you'll receive a $149 gift with purchase on every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill. The kit even includes a Pizza Lover starter kit and much more. And now up to $79 off Napoleon Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts amazing quality. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Catch all the action at Sky River Casino. Enjoy over 80 table games, more than 2,100 slot machines, and a thrilling high-limit room. Plus, with 18 elevated restaurants, bars, and lounge destinations, and Sky River rewards that add up and up. There's something for everyone. Just minutes from Sacramento, right off Highway 99 in Elk Grove. Join in the fun and experience new heights. Sky's the limit at Sky River Casino. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get ready for a summer of music, comedy, and thrills with the Sacktown Sports Live events calendar. Kick it off with punk legends The Damned at Ace of Spades May 31st. Then laugh it up with comedian Kathleen Madigan at Hard Rock Live Sacramento June 7th. Country fans, mark your calendars. Whitey Morgan and the 78s roll into town June 19th, followed by jam-packed June 21st. Tainted Love is at Ace of Spades. Lee Bryce and Walker Hayes are at Ironstone Amphitheater, and Penn and Teller are at Thunder Valley. Then it's 3 days of music and wine at the Country Summer Music Festival, June 27th through the 29th at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds. Don't miss the tradition and thrills of the Folsom Pro Rodeo, July 3rd through 5th, followed by country superstar Cody Johnson at Golden One Center, July 18th. August brings legends. Catch Rick Springfield August 1st and Parker McCollum at the Ironstone Amphitheater June 16th. Grab your tickets now and don't miss a beat. Only with Sacktown Sports.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, 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 and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Louis C.K. in an all-new show, Ridiculous 2025 Tour.
When I was younger, you had to go in the bank. Remember that? You had to go inside the bank. Now you look in the bank, you're like, what are those people doing in there? Are they cleaning? The money's out here.
Friday and Saturday, June 13th and 14th, 8 p.m., the venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Louis C.K. live on stage.
Memorial Day celebration comes early at Elk Grove Honda. There's no need to wait for Memorial Day weekend to see, test drive, and purchase your brand new Elk Grove Honda. Civic hybrids, Accord hybrids, CRV hybrids, and Pilots, Passports, Odysseys, HRVs, Prologue EVs, and so much more. They're all available right now at attractive prices. Whether you're looking to own or lease and can't wait until Memorial Day, visit Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall. We have the right Honda at the right price.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Carmichael Dave here for my good friends at American Energy. As a native Sacramentan, I can tell you, not that you need to know, that it might be nice right now, but turn the corner and oh my God, it's so hot. Yeah, you know, summer is coming. And my friends at American Energy want to make sure you are dialed with your AC unit. So how about this? Half off tune-up right now. It's a special going on, just $24.50 to get your air conditioner tuned up. A free diagnostic. And oh, by the way, if you need a new AC unit, up to $3,500 in rebates on qualifying system installations. That's right. They've been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Give them a call, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Here's the song.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
KHD 1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Hammer time thrown down by the Lincoln. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140. Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Yeah, you got Jay and Whitey today. Thanks for being with us. And thanks again to Carmichael Dave, who just popped on. And we were talking about something that David said. I had heard that he said the Kings were in the worst position in the NBA, so we brought him on. He said, no, he didn't really say that. So we had a really candid conversation with Dave. And I'll be honest with you, the conversation went away that I didn't anticipate, and I should have, but I didn't. And then once it did, I wanted to make sure Dave said his piece, and I didn't want to make it sound like I was trying to prevent him from saying that. So very candid conversation. It comes down to this with the Kings going forward, and we're going to be talking about this for a long time, all off season at least. We've been talking about it for weeks. Which way do you go if you're the Kings? Do you tear the whole thing down? Is it time to finally do that? As Dave says, as many people say, maybe you say that. We've talked about it this week. A lot of people responding to our question in the chat, on the text line, on the phone lines. A lot of people say, I'm ready for that. And I get that. I still am not convinced that's the best way. I think a more gradual retooling, which involves a more gradual teardown, perhaps. I think that's more prudent, but I understand the argument. Jan, I know you said you wanted to say a few things in reaction to Dave, the bonus appearance by Carmichael Dave.
Yeah, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm putting words or thoughts in your mind or from your mouth. I think part of the asset conversation becomes we have assets.
Yeah.
Meaning the Kings. When I say we, I say the Kings.
Yeah.
I value what the Kings have maybe at a different level than I think Dave values certain assets. And if I'm not, and Dave may text me and correct me if I'm wrong when it comes to him, and we're going to have Dave on again because we just didn't have time, and we definitely didn't have time for you to lay out some of the things that he asked you, right? So obviously we got to make sure that is part of it. But some of the assets that I think Dave, and he to me is saying stepping into a general manager's mind, meaning he brought up Sam Presti. He brought up, if I had an opportunity at Sam Presti, would I move over to Phoenix or would I come here to Sacramento? And he thought he would go to Phoenix. Part of the asset conversation for me is the Kings have assets. It's all about, are they willing to move off them?
Mm-hmm.
And that's first part. And Dave said, well, let's rank it. Let's talk about draft picks. Let's talk about assets, meaning players, and so on and so forth. The conversation that I think Kings fans are so hung up on, and it's a great thing, and let me take a step back real fast. The great part about Sacramento, and I've said this before, but I'm going to repeat it because we always have new people listening. It is great in the fact that when you come to Sacramento, Whitey, when you become a part of the Kings family, as Dave talked about, the Kings Kingdom, as I call it, you're one of us. And we never want to see one of us leave. And I've been a proponent and I've been a strong constituent of saying this. We hold on to family too long, or we respect our family too much, or we value our family, meaning Kings players, at a higher level than most fan bases.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that is a problem. We look at, and I'll just say Keegan Murray. I put Keegan Murray out there. We look at Keegan Murray as he's almost untouchable. And we heard this just last year. Now, this year may be a little different. And I was right here on this air saying ain't nobody untouchable unless you're a superstar. And unless I see you going to be a superstar, I could take the argument, Whitey, if somebody said, well, we don't know, like Jonathan Kuminga. Well, what you guys talk about, you got to give Keegan a little more room to grow. That's fine, but he ain't got it to me as a superstar. Now, how you see it is how you see fit. But I use him, and it's no disrespect to Keegan. Keegan's a good player. He may be a great player. He may be an all-star, but he ain't Anthony Edwards. He ain't Anthony Edwards.
No, he's not.
And to win in this league, you need Anthony Edwards. You need Nikola Jokic. And that's my issue. And so that's
are you pro-tanking? Is that where you're going?
No. And that's what I had to just set the foundation.
Yeah,
I'm not pro-tanking, but I'm setting the foundation in the form of, now let's talk about the assets. Kings fans and Kings Kingdom, we value the assets or overvalue the assets sometimes. And it normally happens this way, Whitey. Our own possessions, people who own things, normally overvalue what we have because it's ours compared to the outsider or someone you bargain or bartering with. That's my issue.
With fans?
For sure with fans. For the Kings, but I'm also saying this. We have assets. We have Keegan Murray. It's time to spend on that if we want to do something different. And that's where I'm setting the foundation for Dave's conversation is I can understand what he's saying because that's what I've been saying for a long time. We overvaluing too much. Sometimes you got to spend on things you don't want to get what you want, right? Now, I'm not for the whole tank thing because I don't believe in the whole tank situation. I believe just what you said. There are some moves that the Kings can make, educated moves,
right,
and do and operate in a better form or fashion than tanking. Tanking to me doesn't help an organization, and it's been shown and proven it doesn't really work.
It works sometimes.
Very
when
little.
It doesn't
Yeah,
work.
very rarely.
It's devastating, and you'd be waving the white flag for at least 3 years. And I understand sometimes that works. Detroit just did it, and they emerged from the cocoon. It's like a beautiful butterfly. But would we be able to tolerate it here? I don't know. Like I keep saying, I understand the argument. I get it why people say that. I don't think that's the best way for this franchise going forward. And it's also, I think it's something you don't necessarily rush into this year. And when I say rush, I know people say, rush into it. This has been terrible for years. But you've got a new GM and you've got a new coach, and you're not sure how it all fits together. You've got this year to sort out some things, and maybe you can get things on the proper track with some moves like moving DeMar, maybe bringing in a high draft pick, and maybe then you've got a sense of order and you've got a sense of where you want to get to sooner. And then if you don't, then you could still decide, yeah, we got to tear it down a year from now, or maybe at the trade deadline. So that's really obviously a very consequential decision to say, yeah, we're going to tear it down. I don't think it's one you have to make right now. You still have that card in your pocket, Jay. If I go into this year and I think I'm going to move this guy, maybe a veteran, maybe DeMar, maybe I'm going to get some back. I think I like how this fits together. Let's say I do that. Then I get maybe even next year to the deadline, or if not the deadline, the end of next year. And if then I'm in the same spot, I can still play that card. Now you'd say, well, then you're even further behind because it's going to take 3 years from there. But it's such an impactful decision. It's just something, if I got time before I have to do it, I'm going to take that time to try other things.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm not a proponent of the tanking situation. It's not for me. I think there's a way to go about, and this is, there's a difference, rebuild versus tanking. I'm about the rebuild situation. I'd rather see a rebuild, and with that, you can rebuild it how you want to. I think we're all getting to the same agenda. It's all about how the road that we're taking,
right,
to get to, being better. And I'll be completely honest. Some of the conversation we have, and we've had the last couple of years, is how patient or how willing are the Kings fans to continue to wait on something that is satisfaction, that's going to bring satisfaction. I don't know, but I'll say this: the Kings have been bad for forever. So it's another 2 years, but that's just me. I'm not speaking for everybody. So it's a tough situation. And I think we all understand that. But for as far as tanking, no. And as far as assets, and I'll say this, I get what Dave is talking about, and I hate to keep talking about what Dave is talking about when he can't defend himself, but he said a lot. I'm not sold on the Durant thing. Now Booker, for sure, Booker's gonna bring a lot of situation, a lot of assets back to you.
Comparing our situation to Phoenix and the Kings situation, you don't think KD is necessarily that great of an asset?
No, but and I say this: DeMar and DeMontis we've looked under a microscope for a while, and a lot of what people have come on this show and said, a lot of discussion we had is there's a particular market that DeMontis and DeMar fit into, right? I believe that, but I also believe there's a particular market that Kevin Durant fits into. Kevin Durant's not 25 anymore.
Nope.
He's not 29 anymore.
Nope.
He ain't 33 no more,
Tell
and
me
he ain't
about it.
35 no more.
I know the feeling.
Absolutely. So Kevin Durant doesn't fit in Utah. Kevin Durant does not fit in certain specific markets. He doesn't work in Portland. He doesn't go back to the Nets and it's all fine and dandy. Kevin Durant is for a ready-made team that's close to a championship. Guess what? There ain't that many of those teams that's around. So when we're talking about particular markets,
You're saying it's limited.
It's very limited.
Yeah.
There's not a lot that people looking around. And it sounds crazy because we look at Kevin Durant as a superstar, but Kevin Durant is 40 almost.
Right.
He's got a couple more years. There ain't too many teams looking for a 40-year-old star named Portland, named Utah.
Yeah, we're back to the conversation in just a moment. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140 if you want to weigh in. If you're on the phone now, hang on. We're right back with more of this. Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Typically, a high handicapper carries an index of 20 or more. Golf Monthly's Barry Plummer offers 4 tips if you're tired of that high handicap. First, choose the right equipment. Invest in a 5-wood, which is more forgiving than a 3-wood or 3 hybrid. It's a much better option for getting the ball in the air. Second, play for bogey on par 5s. Break the longer holes into manageable chunks, perhaps aiming to hit the green with 4 easy swings while also navigating away from the trouble along the way. 3, leave the sand wedge in the bag for chipping. Up and down percentages are almost twice as good when chipping a 9-iron over a sand wedge, and 3.5 times better with the putter. And finally, stop leaving your putts short. A 20 handicapper leaves 55% of their missed putts short of the hole. Give yourself a chance with every attempt and don't leave another putt short. Try these simple tips and let's see whether your handicap starts to come down. And have some fun out there. That'll help too. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
San Francisco!
What a laser from Brock Purdy, and what a catch.
San Francisco 49ers single game tickets are available now.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Fred gets up and runs back the other way. 1 block and he's in. Gonna throw left for the end zone. It's caught by George Kittle.
Secure your seats at 49ers.com/tickets.
There are low prices, and then there are Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I got myself a comfy tee for just $4.99 and a stylish dress for 50% off. Then I found my husband a pair of shorts for under $17. Plus, I earned Kohl's cash. Yup, it doesn't get better than Kohl's lowest prices of the season. So go check them out before it's too late. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Offers end May 18th. See store at Kohls.com for details.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See full details and disclaimer.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
We just had an interesting conversation with Carmichael Dave. We were talking about Kings and their assets and whether they're in the worst spot in the conference compared to other teams with what they have to build on. And the conversation turned more to ownership and what the Kings need to do there and how it would be beneficial to everybody, perhaps if, well, not perhaps. I think we all agree, if ownership were less involved than they've been in the past, that would be a positive. We talked about where you go from here. Do you tear it down, as a lot of people want the Kings to do? And I totally understand that. Or do you take more measured moves this offseason? Moving a big money piece here for assets, maybe get younger in that way, do it more gradually, and perhaps stave off having to tear it down. That's very difficult to do. I know that, but I think it's a more prudent approach right now than the total tear down at this time. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Let's see what Mark has to say. Hey, Mark, you're on with Jay and Whitey. How are you? What's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
I mean, what is a total teardown? I mean, to me, it's like, what are your number one assets? Like Sabonis or something, like is that a total teardown? I mean, that will get you, that would align your young talent, the age lines up. I mean, I look at it like we're not going anywhere with our current team.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
And so that's my point. I mean, to me, I'm kind of into that tear down mode, rebuild, whatever you want to call it. And here's the other thing. I've been a Kings fan forever, since, like the 80s. It's like this community sold out their arena for the first 10 years. I mean, This team's been horrible the whole time. Like, I think we just don't want, I can't speak for the whole fan base, but I just think that they're getting smarter and we cannot support mediocrity. It's like either we would support a young, hungry team. I'd love to go see that. Or, when they start to get better, of course we all want a championship. It's just no one, I'm talking to all my friends, and it's like, it's mind-boggling to look at a team that is just going to be in the middle of the pack. I mean, like be at the bottom, be at the top. I mean, the middle is the worst place to be, and that's where I feel like if you don't start tearing her down, you're just delaying the inevitable. Man, I got me all flustered here.
That's all right. I got you. Yeah, thank you for calling. I agree with you. Here, definition of terms. To me, a total teardown is get rid of Domas, get rid of DeMar, get rid of Zach LaVine, maybe get rid of Keegan, start all the way over. I don't think you need to do that. As you said, what if you traded Domas and you got some young pieces coming back? To me, that's not a total teardown. And I think that might be the better way to go. But
rebuild. That's a rebuild.
Yeah, I think we all agree something needs to be done.
Yeah.
Somebody here says, why do you got no retort whatsoever? Zion, Trey ain't saving this. I'm with you. I'm not saying, no, you go get Trey Young and you're good with your core. We all agree, I think. I'm sure there's a few people that disagree. But this team as it is, it's like that's one thing they proved last year in the 30 games, whatever it was, with DeMar and Zach LaVine and Domas. That wasn't a good team.
Right.
That's plain to see.
Yeah.
So you have to do something. We're talking about the degrees to which you do that.
Yeah, tear down. I think tear down is complete tanking, what we've seen.
To me, it is.
The 76ers years ago to get Embiid, to get, those guys, Jahlil Okafor.
That's a team that really invented the term tanking in a way. Yeah,
absolutely. Where you have someone says, or literally someone from the 916, literally Rockets, OKC, Pistons, Spurs tanked and have passed Kings. But yeah, okay, it doesn't work. Laughing my anus off. Well, that's just not true. The Spurs never tanked. They were in the middle for a couple of years, but for the longest they were on, losing in the playoffs. But prior to getting Wemby, they were 33-39, 32-39. I went back and looked at it. That's not tanking. Mm-hmm. Tanking is trying to win 12 games. What the Pistons did, what the 76ers did. OKC didn't tank. OKC didn't have nothing to tank about. What they had was assets. They had assets, traded them, and grabbed a lot of opportunity, meaning draft picks. Mm-hmm. That's a little different. And so that just to me is a prime example. That's not knowing what tanking is versus rebuilding.
Yeah, and
there's two different versions of that. And how you get to it is how you get to it.
And there's also, let's be honest, the same word can mean slightly different.
Absolutely.
Things to the same
and it those two.
Yeah. So I say tank, and someone says, I would tank, I'd trade Domas. And I said, well, that's not necessarily tanking. So,
that's true too.
That's part of it too.
Absolutely.
How about Steve here on Sacktown Sports? Hey, Steve, how are you?
Hey. I'm so glad to be on the call. So I watch a lot of basketball like everybody else, and I think sometimes we overreact, and I think we're overreacting right now.
Really?
I really believe if you listen to what Doug has been saying, I'd really like those guys to just get out and hoop. And, I'll play when I need to. But I think that it got to a point where maybe that was good in the first iteration, where everyone knew one another. But then once we start bringing in new players, they didn't know their roles. And then everyone wants to beat up on DeRozan and the other guys, but I think they just didn't know their roles. And then with the new GM, I think he's going to give Doug a little more direction, and we have some schemes and some plays. Bobby Jackson talked about schemes. Even Mike Beebe talked about, I'm the master when it comes to drawing up plays. And so I think we need to give this team another shot. If you listen to talk radio and YouTube,
I do.
What do people always say? I wish they would have just kept us together a little bit longer. We were just about to get it together. And I think this last iteration really had time to gel. So this summer, give them some time to figure it out. And then, like you said, we can bring in some links, some bigger guys.
Mm-hmm.
Even not superstars, but just complementary pieces. But I think you need to give it one more time. If we let everything go, we're going to be going around the same thing over and over. It's like that math question. And you keep doing the same equation, and then you're trying to figure out why you ain't getting the answer right.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, and thank you for listening. I appreciate that. I don't agree with you, but I appreciate your view. To me, the core of that team last year showed us, and they tried and they wanted to win. But to me, Jay, that core, and again, I'm talking primarily Zach LaVine and Domas and DeMar DeRozan, when they were on the floor together, the Kings were not a good team. The three of them together, the Kings had a net rating that was negative. I think we all saw enough to know that, that's not quite it. So that's my opinion. I know a lot of basketball people. 30 games is a pretty good sample size. You're right. There was a lot of uncertainty. People didn't know their roles, and as Scott Perry says, we didn't have a point guard. But that roster just didn't. I don't think it was a matter of they needed more time. I think it was pretty clear that some good talent there, but it just didn't make a whole.
The Lego pieces didn't fit.
That's right.
Yeah. I would agree. I would tend to agree, and I get what Steve is talking about.
I do too.
He's a hooper. Sound like Steve's a hooper.
I think
so.
so.
You got to respect a hooper.
Yeah.
But I would tend to agree with you a little more, Whitey, and probably more fans than not. Where I think I've seen enough of that iteration, even though it was a lot of interchangeable pieces, to say I don't want to see that again for a long haul. And honestly, I'll be the first one to say there has to come to a point where we all have to be honest about the situation. And I think Mark hit it on the head. I totally agree with this. Kings fans have been patient for so long, and they've been such class, high class caliber fans for so long. But it is coming down to a point where, man, I just want to see something different.
Mm-hmm.
And I continuously ask from Kings fans, and I'm glad we're having that. And I'm glad I see the text line, and I'm glad I keep, the Chateau is chiming in like they do. What does that mean what is that to you as a Kings fan? What is something different? Because I know I'm tired of being in the middle, but I also know that it's not going to be overnight. I understand that. And I think you understand that too. And I believe Kings fans understand that. But I put all that out there to say, how more patient are we willing to be, knowing that this team is not right now?
I think, I can't say I know this because I can't know exactly how fans think, but having had this conversation for the last couple of days, I think fans are willing to be patient with a team that might not be ready yet. If they can look at the team and go, I see how this team's going to get better. I'm willing to be patient for a team that has a future. I'm willing to be patient for a team that has a guy on it that I know that, wow, he could really be worth watching in a few years. And I think fans look at this team now, not Steve, but the majority of fans look at this team right now and go, that team's going nowhere, and I have no patience for that.
Is it, Whitey, and this is something we've had conversation about, would you rather it be upfront and personal, meaning the team, the organization, the ownership, Scott Perry, the basketball ops, the assistant GM, whoever come out and say, we are rebuilding, we are tanking, not those words, but we are not looking to win this year. We know we need to take a step back to take a step forward.
Yeah, maybe. But the reason I say maybe is because I think they're still sorting that out. And they can't tell us yet. And that's maybe one reason why it's been so quiet. They don't want to say we love this guy or that guy or we're doing this because they're still looking at everything. Man. And it depends on what this guy wants to do and what this team wants to do. And can we get that guy? So I think they deserve, Scott Perry, I think, deserves a grace period. And I know for some fans, like, grace period?
Right.
We made the playoffs once in my whole life. What are you talking about? But I think I'm fine with that. Figure out what you want to do, how you want to get there. And then, I don't want to hear one thing if 2 weeks from now you're going to trade somebody and then go, oh, no, we changed our mind.
So assess the situation.
I think
that's
doing
what
that.
you're doing.
Don't you?
I do. I believe so. And I believe, and this is the toughest part of all of this too for Kings fans. And I'm speaking as a Kings fan, is sometimes we lose sight of Scott Perry, BJ Armstrong, Doug Christie, and Doug Christie as a head coach, as the full-time head coach. This is their show now, and they haven't been part of the old regimes. Mm-hmm. Scott Perry hasn't been minus 3 months part of the old regimes. They weren't here 15 years ago. They weren't here 10 years. They weren't here 25 years ago. And as a Kings fan, as we've heard, man, I've been a Kings fan all my life. I'm ticket older since the 80s.
Right.
They're merging everything together. It's all compactual.
Yeah.
Versus, you kind of got to let Scott and them, work they wiggle a little bit.
Right.
But some fans don't want to hear it.
Well, but I get that. And I'm with you. He deserves that. But if you're a fan, you're like, oh, he needs time. He just got here. That's what the last guy said. And that's what the guy before him said. That's what Vlade said. And it's like, if we end up in the same place.
Right.
So it's hard.
It is.
So this is a crucial summer
for
the organization, not only basketball-wise, but just in terms of maintaining that credibility with the fan base, which I don't think I've ever seen before to this level since I've been here.
Wow. It's a great point, Whitey. That's a great point. Somebody going to have to step out on the ledge over there at the G1C and speak on it then.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. And you can speak on it when we come right back. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
The Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, Athletics, and Republic FC with the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit sacktownsports.com to join.
You know, our old heater collapsed with a heavy sigh. Right around the holidays, we needed a new one in the worst way. It was freezing cold. But there's a lot of HVAC companies out there. So how do you choose? What do you do? Friend recommended, well, it was actually Jose. He recommended we check out Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating at leesair.com. That was good advice. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating was ready to come out the day that we called. And we really appreciated how responsive they were on the phone. They realized, wow, you don't have any heat. We can come out there today, which we appreciated. So it comes down to this, as I keep telling you, why choose Lee's? Well, here's some good reasons. 100% satisfaction guarantee. They get 4.8 stars on Google. They've won awards with their service. They've spent more than 40 years serving the Valley's HVAC heating and plumbing needs, and you can trust Lee's with installation and repair of your AC, furnace, and water heater, plus residential and commercial plumbing repair and commercial HVAC services too. You can find out more at leesair.com. Check out their mission statement, which is all about serving customers and community, and check on their $99 HVAC tune-up service. You want to let Lee's take care of you the way they took care of us, treating us like family while setting us up with an HVAC system that has improved our quality of life, has improved the air that we breathe. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating, license number 635355.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by San Francisco 49ers.
I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Very warm again Friday, and we're going to start mild with temperatures in the mid-50s. Strong sunshine will have us in the 70s by late morning. Highs will be near 90 in the afternoon. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA app.
San Francisco 49ers 2025 single game tickets are now on sale. Join the faithful at Levi Stadium. Secure your seats today at 49ers.com/tickets. That's 49ers.com/tickets.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it to keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See full details and display.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-961-5544. 800-961-5544.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively the Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. Memorial Day savings explode at Maida's Elk Grove Chevy. Save $12,500 off MSRP after rebates. Every new 2025 Silverado Turbo Max in stock.
And Maida Chevy has similar savings on every new Silverado. One of the largest selections of new Silverado in the Sacramento area.
$12,500 off new Silverado. Exclusively at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big. Huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Less than 2011 not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers.
Oh, we got some fire coming in on the text line. And I don't say that because I have anything in particular to read. It's just noticeable, Jay, what a raw nerve this is for Kings fans in a way that I don't remember it ever quite being before. Here's something interesting, though, from the 916. Most people say we have talent, but not a good fit. If that's the case, you don't have to blow it up. Just move a piece or two that don't fit for pieces that fit. I'm so smart. I'm sure it's one of the things they're looking at. But, we've been talking about, they deserve some patience. And we get, from the 916, sorting this out. We've been sorting for 20 years. And that's where people are right now. A lot of fans. Like, what? We're starting over again?
Right.
How is this different from the last time you started over and the time before that and the time before that? And then we love Doug Christie. It's Doug Christie. We love Doug Christie. But how's he different from what Mike Brown did or Luke Walton or George Karl or whoever, right? Maybe they're not the problem. So people are just really fed up.
Yeah. And you make a great point. You said you haven't seen the King's Kingdom be this fed up ever. You think this might be the first time?
Not quite this way.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. And that, we go back to looking at the past and the history because we are revisionist. We've been fans for longer than this regime has been part of the team. Mm-hmm. And so, as you said, 20 years, we've been sorting things out for 20 years. Unfortunately, this regime ain't been there for 20 years. And I know fans ain't trying to hear it. And I respect it because I ain't trying to hear it either. Yeah. But unfortunately, that's the hand we've been dealt at this point.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, of course. How about TC's been hanging on? TC, it's time for Check It. What's up, TC?
Mike, check.
Man, check it out, man. Whitey, Jay, what's up?
And we living, brother. We living.
I know. Listen, so check it out, man. Kings fans, though, everybody gonna fan how they gonna fan, though. But listen. We all agree, man. We ain't with no tanking and we ain't with no tearing down. So look, check it out. So Domas and DeMar, and we got our whole chess piece of first-round picks, bro. That's a juicy package to bring in a big dog name, right? Mm-hmm. So we at the table if you're talking about that. So if you move DeMar and Domas, bro, that's not tearing it down to none of that. That's bringing in some pieces that work with what we got going on.
Oh, hello? Yeah, I heard you. Yeah, you stopped there. We got you.
Okay, yeah, now listen. So that's not a teardown. Listen, that's where I'm at with it, man. Listen, I'm with a Laker package. You know what I'm saying? No, if they trying to go for Domas or DeMar or whatever, man, they could throw a Rui and a Dalton in the first round pick or whatever, man. Get the pieces that can come in here that can help Doug and help this team move forward, man. We're gonna be straight, man. I'm telling you, we at the table with a Domas, DeMar, and a couple first round picks, man. We can offer four or five first round picks right now. We got a war chest, man, with two top dogs, a double machine, and a guy that that's gonna get you 20 a game. Yeah. Listen, bro, Get ready. We ain't with no teardown. That's all I got, man.
Thank you, TC. Yeah, then we get into again the semantics of it. It's like, is that a teardown? I'm with TC. That's not a total teardown, but I'd be okay with that if you get the pieces back that you need.
TC said we got a war chest of things. I can dig it. I feel that.
Domas has some value.
Yeah, he does. He
Martin
has
Rosa
value.
still has some value.
There's a few people on the roster that has some value. It's all about, as you said, assessing the situation and do you want to, spend them?
Yeah. And what, over the next 7 drafts, this one notwithstanding, at least not yet, you have, is it 9 picks?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you could trade some of that if you wanted. You do have assets. That was the gist of the conversation that I thought we were going to have with Dave. And it went another way, which is fair. But I thought we were talking about the assets this organization has going forward. And I'm with TC. There's some significant ones there. They got some options. Let's see here. We got some comments there on TC. Listen. Yeah, you got to check it with TC.
Yeah.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You know what? He's been on hold all day. I want to get 10 on. What do you say? It's time for sliding doors moment with 10. What do you got, 10? Help us out. Yeah.
Yup, it's good. Y'all got me. Hey, I got to tie some loose ends from yesterday.
You what?
I got to tie up some loose ends with Draper because he left early and he's not even on today, so I got to speak on his behalf.
Oh, okay.
All right, so bet this up. Hey, man, as a host of a restaurant for a year, I felt disrespected when he shot on Sacramento Eatery.
Yeah, I don't know where we went there with 10, and that was on me.
I got to keep going.
Yeah,
I got to keep going.
I think we're good, 10. Thank you. I think we're good. I don't even know if we can say that, 10. Yeah. Thank you. And that was, what happened there is I got the ball. I'm coming down the lane, Jay, and I didn't read the defense well. And I should have.
All right. It wasn't a turnover.
You
just had to go back to the top of the key and reset, bro.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Reset.
No worries.
Yeah. All right.
Thought you had somebody, going up, but you didn't. It's okay.
10, you never know where you're going to end up. I don't think I want to be here. So anyway, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. So that's where we are as Kings fans. And then there's a lot more people that we're hearing from on the text line that are just saying, tear it down. I've had it. Start over. I don't want to hear any reasoning or excuses. Tear it down. Do what OKC did and just let's head in a new direction. I think a ton of that is because of Kings fans that were so patient for so long. Will they ever make the playoffs? Will they ever make the playoffs? They did. And then within a couple of years after that, we're back to firing coaches and firing GMs. And that's where I think for a lot of fans, it was like, well, that's it. I waited all this time to be better, and they were better for 1 year and one first-round playoff exit. We want better than that. That's why I think fans are so disgusted.
The Kings are in a very peculiar situation when it comes to how the fans see the organization and the team at the moment. And you made a great point also not too long ago in the show. More now than ever, you look at the landscape of what's going on outside of sports and outside of entertainment. I just came back from Hawaii, and we all know common sense, and I understand that it's not so common, but Hawaii is super expensive. It's not a brag. It's an example of, I looked at the gas in Hawaii, rented a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And gas is less in Hawaii than it is here. And so I say that in the form of people are living real lives. And when you cross over to see entertainment, and especially your squad, and this is something that I get all the time, Whitey, I'm not sure if you get this, but just read, as you said, the text line. People are fed up with this part of their entertainment because other things around their lives put enough pressure on your life. I'm coming here and I want to win, and I'm tired of not.
Right. I want fun.
There it
things.
is.
I want to light the beam.
Yes. Hence why Light the Beam has become so popular because it brings cheer. It brings folly. It brings all the love that you could possibly have for your squad. And sometimes you forget about life. When this starts to cross over, it's like, man, I've heard this from so many people as of late. Man, being a Kings fan is a headache. Being a Kings fan is difficult, and it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
That's the tough part.
Right.
That's the tough part about it.
Yeah. Instead of taking me away from some of these concerns, you're adding to my list of concerns.
Yes.
That's not what I signed up for.
I'll be having friends all the time, Whitey. I don't know if you get this. You know what? I'm out. I'm done. And I know they're just playing.
Yeah.
But it's becoming that point for them, for as a Kings fan. When is enough enough? Totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say that's to each his own. You say it. Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, individually. That's you.
Yes.
And I'm not telling anybody how to fan. I understand. This ain't easy.
I think fans are still looking for something to get inspired by. And I think fans will come back around if the team is able to handle this tricky off season. I don't know, rebuild, like tearing it all down. When I say that, tear it down, I'm talking about get rid of everybody and starting over. I think a lot of people intellectually would look at it and go, that makes sense. I'm for that. But, from a business standpoint, you need to do things that touch people in the heart, make them go, ooh, yes, I like that. And I don't know that it would do that.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to get excited about, yes, they're getting rid of everybody, even though maybe mentally, intellectually we'd go, that's probably the best thing. So I think it's incumbent upon the front office to do something, maybe a couple of things this offseason that get people going, all right, that's kind of interesting. I want to see how that works out.
Bring back some of that joy, that interest, pique that interest a little more.
I've had it.
Yeah.
What do you got there? What's that? I mean, I'm out.
Yeah.
But what is?
Yeah.
You traded who?
Move that a little bit.
You got back in the first round,
man.
What'd you get for? You traded DeMar for what? So I think that's what they have to do.
I agree. I totally agree. I think there's a lot of fans out there who would agree with you. This is it's a dynamite summer that needs to be had by the Kings. They have to, as we've heard this before, they have to win the summer.
Yeah.
The Kings need to win this summer.
Mm-hmm.
How they get to that, and that's a lot of we've been talking about assets, rebuild versus tanking, the verbiage we use, however you want to go about it as you assess the situation. The Kings, I think we can all agree, the Kings need to win this summer. And as you just stated, they probably need to win back and pique the interest of the Kings fans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The jaded fans are like, I've had enough of this. It's hard, but it's like when your kid's like, no, I don't want any ice cream. Are you sure? Got sprinkles. Oh, yeah?
You've been there once or twice, huh?
Maybe. It's also ice cream night at our house, so maybe I got
Really?
that.
You guys got ice cream night?
Thursday night, baby.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this, you get like special flavors, or how does this work?
That's a surprise, Jay. We'll find out what we got.
I might need you to report back tomorrow.
When we come back, we'll look at Giannis. The more we hear about a potential Giannis move, it seems the less we know, but we'll work on it. And no, the Kings don't appear to be involved in that, but who knows? Next, Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by San Francisco 49ers.
I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Very warm again Friday, and we're going to start mild with temperatures in the mid-50s. Strong sunshine will have us in the 70s by late morning. Highs will be near 90 in the afternoon. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA app.
San Francisco 49ers 2025 single game tickets are now on sale. Join the faithful at Levi Stadium. Secure your seats today at 49ers.com/tickets. That's 49ers.com/tickets.
The Memorial Day Race to Savings is on. Get the best deals of the season at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the Memorial Day Race to Savings, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Memorial Day is the unofficial beginning of summer and a time to reflect on the blessings we enjoy living in this country. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. At Naturewood's Memorial Day sale, you choose the offer. It's like two sales in one. Take 10% off regular prices or get 24 months of no-interest financing with payments on approved credit. Then you can choose from living rooms, sofas, sectionals, dining rooms, bedrooms, home offices, and so much more. Whether you're looking to lighten the mood in your living room, brighten up your bedroom, or tighten up your home office, you can shop and save big on the best selection of quality furniture, including Sacramento's largest selection of furniture made in the USA. Shop the area's best selection of quality furniture at Naturewood Home Furnishings. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for that water wheel.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, with second baseman Zach Geloff having spent the entire year on the IL, the A's offseason acquisition of Luis Urias as a free agent has turned out to be a shrewd move. As of the end of the last homestand, Urias had started 20 consecutive games at second base, hitting 4 home runs, including a walk-off against the White Sox, and his OPS almost .830. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is this weekend with Bailey Zimmerman. Plus Billy Currington, Nate Smith, Ernest, and more. Friday and Saturday, May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo. Don't miss pop-up stores, food trucks, line dancing, and more. Country in the Park, celebrating 25 years, May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo.
Sponsored by the California Army National Guard. Get tickets and more info at CITPFest.com.
One of the hottest giveaways of the 2025 baseball season is finally here. The Sacramento River Cats are hosting Corduroy Bucket Hat Giveaway Night, presented by Power Market. This must-have fashion statement will be given to the first 2,500 fans inside Sutter Health Park for the River Cats game on Friday, May 30th. Be part of one of the most stylish nights of the 2025 season. Arrive early for Corduroy Bucket Hat Night on May 30th and get your tickets at rivercats.com.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Trey is wondering what time it should be over for ice cream. Sorry, Trey.
Oh,
It's not. It's a closed ice cream party tonight. Sorry, I didn't know. Maybe next Thursday we can work in.
Come on, man. We're not invited to the Gleason household.
Not tonight. Not tonight. From the 916. See, here we get back again to definition of terms, which is confusing, but we do have to sort it out, at least if we're going to understand each other. A teardown is getting rid of your older players and replacing them with draft picks or younger players and draft picks. You don't trade your younger players like Keon, Carter, and Keegan in a teardown, rebuild, or tank. Yeah, okay. I think what they're saying is tanking is like where you just have young players that can't win. We've seen that. Like the Rockets tanked before they became good.
Right.
They had a bunch of young guys, and they had Şengün, and they had Jalen Green, and they had Kenyon Martin. This was before they got Jabari Smith Jr. They had a lot of young guys, and they weren't very good, and they played at pace.
Right.
And they turned the ball over all the time, and they just lost a bunch of games. And in the process, some of the younger guys came into their own, and they lost enough games where they got more high draft picks, and they were able to get Jabari Smith Jr.
Yeah.
It's tricky, though. I would rather do something like what Indiana did. Indiana was 45-28 in 2020. Then the next year, which was the shortened year, 34-38. Then the year after that, let's see. When they traded for Tyrese, they're 25-57. Then they go 35-47 in 23. And then the last 2 years, you're in the conference finals. So never did they get down, like where they're winning 15 games.
Right.
But that was a pretty quick, and I don't think that was a total teardown. The Domas trade was the biggest trade in there, but like Miles Turner was there the whole time.
Right. A rebuild. It's kind of like what Spurs did. You seen them 33, 33. They won 32, 33, 33. And then they, won 32 games. And the next thing you know, they got Wembanyama. They got lucky, got the first pick, then they won 22 this year. So as you said, it's semantics, Whitey. It really just comes down to the verbiage that you're using, tanking versus rebuilding.
Yeah.
If I'm just looking at it, cut and dry, I think tanking is, as Drapes would say, tearing it down to the studs, knowing that we're going to, just what Washington did, just what Utah did, where you pretty much have just players.
Tanking is the players. Players are always trying to win.
Right.
But you put a team on the court that can't win if they try.
Yeah, you're purposely.
Yeah, as an organization, you're not trying to win, even though the players you put on the court are trying to win, which means they are bad players.
Right. That's tanking. And we're not trying to win. We want to play the odds. We want to see the lottery, the ping pong fall our way. We're rebuilding is what you're saying. The Pacers, they keep some talent. They're trying to find the proper piece. Didn't really work. Okay, let's try someone else. But you're kind of keeping a skeleton of a squad that you believe can win.
Yeah. And in the last couple of years, they've also added those guys like Neesmith and, of course, my guy Nembhard. So, they've made some key young additions, but never did they go down to where they're like a 14-win team for 5 years running. Speaking of Giannis, as I was a moment ago, is he going to go anywhere? It sure looks like he might. We have this from NBCSports.com. Kurt Heelan says Houston would be open to trading Alperen Şengün, league sources told NBC Sports, but the Bucks may be higher on a Jalen Green-based trade. Obviously, Houston looks like one of the teams that if they wanted, they could make a real serious run at Giannis. Jabari Smith Jr. likely to be part of any deal. The Rockets have a lot of future first-round picks, their own and others, such as Brooklyn and Phoenix, that could be part of the trade. So it looks like Houston, if they want to, they could put together a very attractive package for Giannis. Looks like maybe the Nets would be one of those teams. The Warriors, after last night, our buddy Slate reported the Warriors are not believed to be interested in getting involved in the Giannis sweepstakes, which I don't think they can because of what they're paying to Jimmy Butler already.
Yeah, that apron is going to be a cold apron.
Yeah, they didn't know Giannis would be available, but they kind of bowed out prematurely on the Giannis sweepstakes when they signed Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, they were going for the win this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be tough to put this isn't Durant. We can go grab Durant and add him on top of all the money we have. These aprons are tremendously taxing. You get into that second apron, you're talking about big money that some of these owners definitely don't want to pay. We'll see if anyone wants to pay it.
Yeah. That's going to be one of the big stories of the offseason, obviously, where that goes. We still don't know for sure. Giannis is on his way out. It sure looks that way. KD will be a big story. Hopefully the rebuild of the Kings.
I don't know.
Will be a big story.
Something. Retooling, rebuilding, tanking, tweaking, whatever you want to call it. Finessing the roster.
Now, finessing the roster ain't going to do it. It's got to be more than a finesse.
You can't finesse the roster?
Nah, that ain't going to work. That might get you 41 wins. I don't think you have to tank, but at least you got to retool.
You got to, okay. All right. The war chest.
Yeah.
As TC said.
Yeah. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. Thanks for all the feedback. Stick around because golf to go. Talking about the game of golf next right here on Sacktown Sports.